Hey guys, it's me, Amaterasu, back with the one, the only, the hope of the Senju clan, aka, what if Naruto was a Senju? But without further ado, roll the intro.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
My wheels got in my bag and I got all my feels. I'm getting this paper, I'm stacking a meal. I'm with your hoe in the house on the hills. Yeah. I'ma keep it real, had to sacrifice to try to get my bands up. Shorty wanna fuck with me, she see me on the camera. She said she in love with me, but really I can't stand her. She just want part of this life cause she see me on the ground.
Chapter 20 Inner Darkness. As Tsunade continued to play, she suddenly hit the casino jackpot where hundreds of coins started to spill out of the machine. When Tsunade saw this, she suddenly started to worry, as when it came to gambling she had the worst luck in the world and would always lose. That is, unless something bad was going to happen, where Tsunade would win, and the bigger the prize the worse the situation. Hence, after winning the casino big jackpot on just the slot machine, Tsunade knew something bad was going to happen or was happening now. This fear of the worst only grew when she suddenly felt a pain in her chest, as if someone had stabbed her in the heart. Tsunade only felt this pain once before in her life, which was during the incident of Oni no Kuni, Demon Country, when Naruto and Shien were being attacked by the Kusa shinobi. After this pain appeared, Tsunade immediately knew something had happened to Naruto, whether it was mother's maternal instincts or something else. She didn't know or care, all she knew was something had happened to her son and he needed her. At the same time, Shizune and Tonton became concerned at their mistress' actions, as like Tsunade they knew what would happen whenever Tsunade won at gambling. Their concerns only grew further when they saw Tsunade place her hand over her heart, knowing that something was wrong. "Tsunade-sensei, are you alright? Is something wrong?" asked the worried Shizune. "No, I'm not alright, something has happened to Naru-chan," replied the worried Tsunade. "Naruto, but how?" asked Shizune, as she didn't understand how Tsunade knew such a thing. "I don't know how, I just know that something has happened to him. I can feel it my heart," answered Tsunade, as she suddenly got up and told Shizune that they were leaving. After which, the two kunoichi start to race toward Konoha at top speed and get to Naruto as soon as possible. With Anko later that night, as Anko traveled that night through the large forest looking for the intruder, she sensed a familiar chakra signature nearby and instantly realized who it was and headed straight for it. "I feel him," thought the purple-haired Tokubutsu Jonin, as she closed in on her target. Soon enough she landed on a large tree branch and found her target, the former Snake Sanin and S-rank missing ninja, Orochimaru, who was partially merged with the trunk of the tree that she was standing on. When Orochimaru saw her, he smiled in amusement at seeing his former apprentice. "It's been a long time, Anko-chan. You can cut the pleasantries, Orochimaru, as you're a wanted S-class criminal and I am going to kill you, even if it costs me my life," spoke Anko with the utmost seriousness, where 4 senbon needles appeared out of her right-hand coat sleeve and into her hand. "It's my duty after all, given how I was once your student and I learned everything I know from you," continued Anko, where she then prepared to throw her senbon needles at the former Sanin. Orochimaru of course just smiled at this, where he then spat out his tongue, which stretched to an impossible length and headed straight for Anko, who quickly jumped up into the air to avoid it and landed on the trunk of another tree opposite the one that Orochimaru had merged with, where she channeled her chakra to her feet to keep from falling off the tree. Sadly though, Orochimaru's tongue followed after her, where it then wrapped itself around Anko's right arm and pulled her back onto the tree branch she was previously on. Anko although quickly countered by holding out her left hand and the cried out Sinaya Shun, hidden shadow snake hands. After which several snakes erupted from the sleeves of her arms and flew towards the snake Sanin and pulled him out of the tree trunk. "There's not a chance in hell that I'm going to let you escape," cried Anko as she pulled Orochimaru towards her and slammed him into the tree behind her and retracted her snakes. Once she had retracted her snakes back into her sleeves, Anko then pinned Orochimaru to the tree by piercing both their left hands together with a kunai, while at the same time she took hold of his other hand with her right and formed a seal with them. "I have you now," said Anko with a smile, as she saw the realization dawn on Orochimaru when he recognized the seal. "That's right, you and I are going to die together here," said Anko, as she prepared her jutsu and thought Sojusosai no Jutsu, twin snakes mutual death technique. But before she could finish the jutsu, she suddenly heard Orochimaru speak from behind her. "I'm afraid you will die alone here, Anko-chan." Surprised at this, Anko quickly turned around, where at the same time, the night moon came out of from behind the clouds, showing Orochimaru standing directly behind her. Seeing the confused look on his former apprentice's face, Orochimaru decided to explain, "I'm afraid all you have there is a replacement." Hearing this, Anko quickly turned around and saw that the Orochimaru that she had caught was indeed a clone, where when she turned it immediately reverted into mud, revealing it as a Doden, Kage Bunshine, Earth Style, Shadow Clone. "You shouldn't use the forbidden technique that I taught you, Anko-chan, since you're one of Konoha's Tokubutsu Jonin now," said Orochimaru with a smile as he slowly walked to Anko. Angered by how she had been tricked by the former Sannin, Anko quickly pulled the kunai she had stabbed herself with and threw it at Orochimaru. But before it could hit the Sannin in the head, he caught it with ease between his two front fingers. "It's useless, Anko-chan, you don't have the power nor the skill to defeat me," said Orochimaru, where he then did a single one-handed hand seal and activated Anko's curse seal, causing the young woman to fall to her knees in pain. After Anko fell to her knees, Orochimaru slowly walked up to her and lifted her head up slightly so that he could look her directly in the face. "Why did you come?" asked Anko as she tried to fight the pain. "I must say, I'm disappointed, Anko-chan. We haven't seen each other in years, but you have treated me so coldly," taunted Orochimaru. "Have you come here to kill the Hokage?" asked Anko, as she held her left shoulder. "Oh no, as sadly I don't have enough followers to attempt that," replied Orochimaru with a smile. "I actually came here to observe and test two young Genin here, both of whom show much promise, where I then placed my curse seal on them," said Orochimaru. "You haven't changed a bit, they die before they ever serve you," stated Anko. "That is indeed very possible, as their odds are 1 in 10 against them, but I'm certain they will both survive, like you did," replied Orochimaru. "Humph, sounds like you want them both badly," sneered Anko. "Ah, jealous?" asked Orochimaru as he cupped Anko's face. "You just can't forgive me for using and tossing you aside, can you?" At hearing this, Anko glared angrily at her former sensei, as she remembered how he used her. "In many ways, both boys show ever more potential than you did," explained Orochimaru. "For you see, one of them has inherited unique abilities of the Uchiha clan, while the other had inherited several unique abilities from his family, such as the Shodaime Hokage's Makuten bloodline, and both their physical conditions are excellent." At hearing this, Anko's eyes widened in surprise, as she quickly realized who the other person Orochimaru was talking about. "You mean the Senju kid?" "Oh yes, Naruto-kun especially shows a great deal of potential, even more so than Sasuke-kun, as I don't think I've ever seen so much raw potential and power in one person before. Either he or Sasuke-kun could become the very heir that I am looking for," answered Orochimaru. "Getting a little greedy, aren't we? Going after two Genin at once," taunted Anko. "Perhaps, but it would be such a waste not to," replied Orochimaru with a smile, after which he then stood up and started to walk away from Anko. Should either one or both of them survive, things will become very interesting very soon. As Orochimaru walked away, he then suddenly turned around. "Also, whatever happens, don't cancel the exam. 3 of my followers are in this exam and I look forward to see how they fare. Should you cancel the exam, then Konoha's fate is sealed, and I will destroy it." Once Orochimaru had said this, he then turned away from Anko and disappeared in a whirl of purple flames, leaving Anko alone. At dawn, with the Kiri team currently jumping through the treetops, Haku and her team were making their way to the tower in the center of the forest, after finally getting the scroll they needed. As they made their way to the tower, they noticed the signs of a fierce battle, where some of the large trees around them were damaged as well as large holes down in the ground. When they dropped to the ground to investigate further, they saw that 4 massive trees had fallen on top of each other, showing signs that their bottoms had been blown up. They even saw several large dry patches in the grass where the moisture seemed to have been drawn out of the grass and plants. Not only that, but they saw that the earth had been turned up or destroyed in several places and large amounts of water in other areas of the ground, along with wooden spikes, tentacles and a destroyed wooden dome. "What the hell happened here?" asked Chojuro as he looked around the area. "By the looks of things, a fierce battle was fought here," answered Saito, as he looked around the area with the others. "Could it have been the battle you sensed earlier, Saito?" asked Haku, as she turned to her teammate, who was a senior-type shinobi, although his skill was limited, where when he sensed a powerful battle going on, he couldn't tell who it was between or who was winning. He could only tell what direction it was happening in and that it was a distance from them. "More than likely," replied Saito simply. "But if the battle was over, who was it between and who won it?" asked Chojuro. "I do not know, but let us be thankful that it is over and they are gone, as given the state of this area, the people who fought here were very powerful and highly skilled," said Saito. "But still, Chojuro has a point. If the battle is over, then where is the losing side? Where are their bodies?" asked Haku. "Perhaps the beast here ate their bodies after the battle ended," suggested Saito. "I don't believe so, as I see no blood or animal tracks, stated Haku. Does it really matter, Haku-san? Stated Saito. The battle is over and whoever fought here is gone. I suggest we continue on to the tower, before a rival team shows up and attacks us for our scrolls. At this Haku nodded, as she knew Saito was correct, where she then turned to Chojuro, who had broken from them to look at something. Before either she or Saito could call him back to tell him that they were leaving, the blue-haired boy called them over to him to look at something. When they came up to him, they saw him looking a large deep slash mark on the large tree. Look at this. What sort of technique can make a deep slash mark like that on a tree like this? Asked the boy, since as a swordsman in training, he knew that it would take some serious skill for a swordsman to make a slash mark like that on a tree like this with a sword. As given the angle and shape of the slash, it was clearly from a sword or at least a technique involving a sword. As interesting as that is, Chojuro, I believe we should leave this place before. Spoke Saito, only to be interrupted by Haku. We're not leave, or at least not yet, stated the young ice user. What? Asked Saito, as he turned to his female teammate in surprise and confusion. I said we aren't leaving, and we are going to search the entire area. But why? Asked Chojuro, not understanding why the young Hyotan user wanted to stay here and search the area. It doesn't matter, just search the area, stated Haku forcefully, with concern in her voice and a worried look, as she recognized the slash marks on the trees, and could only think of one technique that could do that. Hence why she was searching the area and was hoping she could find proof that she was wrong, or at the very least find out what exactly happened here. Not really understanding what was up with their teammate, both boys decided not to argue and do what they were told, as they knew that when Haku acted like this, there was no talking her out of it. And what exactly do you want us to look for? Asked Saito with a slightly annoyed and skeptical look on his face. You know it when you see it, replied Haku, not really answering her teammate's question, where she then went off to look. Frowning at this, Saito just shook his head with annoyance, before he started looking for whatever Haku wanted them to find. Chojuro also decided to simply obey, where he shrugged his shoulders and sighed before he went in another direction to look for this mysterious thing. After a few minutes, Haku suddenly heard Saito's voice from her short-range radio. Haku, I think I found what you had us looking for, overspoke Saito over his radio. Received, I will arrive at your location momentarily, over replied Haku, as she head to Saito's location. After a minute or two, Haku arrived and came up to Saito, who was standing over a person that lay face first on the ground. I believe this is who you had us looking for, stated Saito, as Haku knelt down and turned the person over, revealing it to be Naruto, the very person she had hoped it not to be. Naruto-kun, spoke Haku with concern when she saw her injured friend. How did you know he was here? Asked Saito. I wasn't sure, but I recognized the slash mark on the tree, as I know of only one technique that can make a slash mark like that, replied Haku, where Saito just nodded. Haku, what are you doing? Cried Saito in surprise when he saw his teammate taking out her medical equipment and started to treat Naruto injuries. I'm healing him, replied Haku without even looking at Saito. I can see that, but why are you doing it? He is our enemy. To you perhaps, but not to me, as he is a dear friend, answered the female ice users. Haku, stop this, stated Saito forcefully. No, I will not, replied Haku, as she continued to treat Naruto injuries. Haku, you will stop this, said Saito, where he then went to grab Haku's hand, but before he could even touch her, he found a set of senbone needles pointed at his jugular. For when he tried to grab hold of Haku's hand, the young Hyotan user turned around, and before her teammate knew what happened next, a set of needles appeared in Haku's hands, where she brought the needles to her teammate's neck, after which Haku then stared directly into Saito's eyes with a cold, angry look in her eyes, one that Saito had never seen before in the normally kind and friendly ice user. When Saito saw this look in his teammate, a cold chill ran down his spine, showing that his teammate was indeed a true student of the famed Kirigakure no Kaijin, demon of the hidden mist, and wasn't the strongest member of their team for nothing. But Haku, why? Asked the slightly nervous Saito. Because both Zabuza-sama and I owe Naruto-kun our lives, for if it were not for him, both us would have been killed at Nami no Kuni, Wave Country. It did not matter to him that we're his enemies, all that mattered to him was that he didn't believe that we deserved to die. It was also because of him that we were able to return to Kiri, so I will not allow any harm to come to him and will help him no matter the cost, for I know in my heart that he would do the same for me, stated Haku, after which she lowered her senbone needles and returned to treating Naruto's injuries. Upon Haku removing her senbone needles from his neck, Saito quickly took a step back from his teammate and began to rub his neck, after which he turned and saw his other teammate Chojuro standing not far from him and Haku, holding Naruto's katana in his hand, which he found when he was looking around the area. Hey, is there something wrong? Asked Chojuro with a worried look, after seeing Haku threatening Saito with her senbone needles. Ahem, No there isn't, replied Saito, not wanting to get on Haku's bad side any more than he already had. Well, I thought you guys should know that I found this katana a bit away from here and thought this might be what you were looking for. But I'm guessing you already found what you were really looking for, said Chojuro, as he held the katana up, after which he looked at the injured Naruto. Is that? Yes. Replied Saito, that is Senju Naruto. What happened to him? Obviously he was involved in the battle that was fought here and he clearly lost, answered Saito. But who could have done this to him? I thought he was one of the strongest Jonin in the exam? Asked Chojuro. Well, he clearly fought with someone who was much stronger than him, stated Saito in a monotone-like tone, as he looked down at unconscious Naruto. But who could have been strong enough to beat him this badly? Could it have been that Gaara guy from Suna or that Yugito girl from Kumo? Since according to those info cards that Kabuto guy showed us, they could be strong enough to take on and beat Senju. That is indeed possible, although it's just as likely that he was defeated by another equally powerful Jonin, who wasn't mentioned by that Kabuto person, replied Saito. But what concerns me is that the person or group that defeated Senju did not kill him, since given his condition, it would have been easy. Chojuro could not dispute, since it was true, although as he thought about it, he suddenly remembered something. Wait, what about the rest of his team? Where are they? Shouldn't they be around her somewhere? I have not seen any sign of them anywhere. It is highly possible that they abandoned him when they realized that they were going to lose, said Saito. I do not believe that to be true, spoke Haku without looking at her teammates, as she continued to heal Naruto's injuries. Why's that? Asked Chojuro, not understanding what Haku meant. Sasuke-san and the others are not the type of people who would run away from a fight even when they were losing, nor would they abandon a teammate. I know this to be true, as when Zabuza-sama first fought Hatake Kakashi and his team and captured him, Kakashi-san ordered them to run away, but they refused, stating they wouldn't abandon him, after which they worked together to free Kakashi-san. So what do you think happened to them? Asked Chojuro. I believe they were forced to retreat, once they realized that they couldn't beat whoever they were fighting. Naruto-kun most likely stayed behind to hold their enemy off and give Sasuke and the others time to escape, since he was the strongest of their group and had the best chance of holding the enemy back and surviving, explained Haku. And how would you know this? Asked Saito, for although Haku's theory was not impossible, he still found it hard to believe that Haku could know all this. Because I know how Naruto-kun would react when faced with his comrades being in danger, as at our fight on the bridge in Nami no Kuni, he put himself in harm's way to save his comrades, answered Haku. At this Saito just nodded, for although he wasn't entirely convinced, he accepted the theory nonetheless, at least until after Naruto woke up and told them what happened. So how is he? Asked Chojuro. Well, he has a few bruised ribs and several other cuts and bruises, but other than that nothing life-threatening. But still we should find a safe place to stay, until he wakes up, stated Haku, where her teammates just nodded. Even though Saito still had his reservations about helping Naruto, he wasn't going to argue with Haku again, given what happened earlier between the two of them. Chojuro was also of equal mind of this, since he had seen what happened, and had no wish to get on Haku's bad side. Once both Saito and Chojuro had lifted the unconscious Naruto up, the two of them followed Haku, who led the way to a large cave they had passed by not too long ago, when they were heading to the tower. Hidden in one of the large trees as Haku and her team carried the injured Naruto away, the three hooded cloaked Amazinon hide in one of the trees looking down at the group. Damn it, just when we had him, why the hell did these guys have to show up? Cursed one of the Amazinon. Better yet, why are they even helping him? I thought this was battle royale between all the teams. Not to mention, it's not like Kiri and Konoha are allies. If they were Tsunade or another Konoha team I might understand, but not this, said the other Amazinon. Obviously, this group is different, as I remember them talking to Senju and some of the other Konoha Jonin and they seemed rather friendly with one another, stated the other Amazinon, who was clearly the leader of the group. So why don't we attack? We can take them, spoke one of the Amazinon. No, not yet. Let's follow them to where they are taking him and plan what we should do from there. Since right now, they would be on guard and if we attack them it could result in a full-out battle and we know nothing of their abilities or skills, hence we could find ourselves at a disadvantage, explained the leader of the group. The best thing we can do right now is follow them to their hideout and plan out an attack from there. At this the two other Amazinon just nodded, where together with their other teammate they stealthily followed Haku and her team from a safe distance. At the Forest of Death Tower, how is the curse seal, Anko? Does it still hurt? Asked the Sandaime Hokage, after he had finished treating Anko. No, it's gotten better, thanks to you Hokage-sama, replied Anko as she covered from the curse seal, although it still hurt a small bit. So tell me what exactly happened and what did Orochimaru tell you? Asked the Sandaime, with a serious tone. For the next 20 minutes Sarutobi listened to what Anko had to say, where once she finished, a large frown appeared on the old Hokage's face. I still can't believe that Orochimaru came here of all place, spoke Izumo with surprise and worry in his voice. But still, why would he come here? It doesn't making any sense, said Kotetsu. At hearing this, Anko then suddenly remembered what Orochimaru said to her in the forest. He wants Uchiha Sasuke and Senju Naruto, am I corrected? Interrupted the Sandaime before Anko could finish, where Anko just nodded, confirming the Hokage's worst fears. Upon hearing this, the Sandaime frown grew even deeper, where he then told Izumo and Kotetsu to leave the room, as he wanted to speak to Anko alone. Both Chunin nodded and left the room, after which Sarutobi turned to the nearby window and looked out at the forest before him, where he let out a deep sigh, before he spoke to Anko again. Tell me, Anko, did Orochimaru tell you anything else about Naruto? As I am sure you can guess why he wants Sasuke, asked the Sandaime without look at the young woman. At this, Anko nodded, as she already guessed that her former sensei wanted Sasuke, because of his bloodline. Since he had always been obsessed with learning all the jutsu in the world, and the unique abilities of the Sharingan would be an invaluable asset to him in achieving his goal. He mentioned that Senju Naruto had inherited several abilities from his ancestors, including the Shodaime Hokage's Makuten powers. At hearing this, Sarutobi let out another tired sigh, before he turned to Anko. What I am about to tell you, Anko, has been declared a S-class secret, known by only a select few shinobi and the members of the Konoha Council. Should you tell anyone that has not been cleared, before it has been officially announced, you'll be severely punished. I understand, Hokage-sama. Good. What Orochimaru said is true. Naruto has indeed inherited the Makuten bloodline of his ancestor the Shodaime Hokage, although he is able to use it in a way that the Shodaime could not, since Naruto is able to manipulate and control plants with his bloodline as well. Not only that, but he has also inherited his mother's precise chakra control and is able to use her superhuman strength to a remarkable degree. He also seemingly has a high affinity to water, much like the Nidaime Hokage, and is able to create large amounts of water without a large reserve of water nearby. Although he is not yet at the same level as the Nidaime, since he must use the moisture from not only the air, but also the surrounding plants, when using powerful water jutsu that require a large amount of water. But given time, I'm certain that he will overcome that inability. Also, according to Kakashi, Jiraiya, and Kurayani, Naruto has seemingly developed a unique talent for genjutsu, not unlike his ancestor Senju Toka. But the most remarkable thing about Naruto is that he has 4 nature affinities. Naturally, when the Hokage had finished explaining Naruto's abilities, to say Anko was surprised would have been a severe understatement. No wonder Orochimaru wants the kid so badly. If he is this talented and strong already, there's no telling how strong he'll become later on, thought Anko. What affinities does he have? Asked Anko. He has affinities to earth, water, lightning and wind, answered the Sandaime before he continued. Given what I've told you, I'm certain you can understand why this has been declared an S-class secret. Since given his heritage alone, many of our enemies and rivals will come after Naruto, and their drive to either capture or kill him will only grow once they eventually learn what Naruto can do. Anko just nodded at this, after which she decided to ask the Hokage something that concerned her. But Hokage-sama, if it is indeed true that only a select few people knew of Senju Naruto's abilities, how is it that Orochimaru learned about it? I believe he originally only came to test both Sasuke and Naruto to see if they might prove useful to him. So when Naruto and his team fought him, Naruto must have been forced to reveal his abilities to Orochimaru, answered Sarutobi, where he could not fault Naruto for doing so, given who he was up against. Anko of course nodded after hearing the Hokage's explanation, as it made sense, but then spoke up again about something else she had been wondering. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but what are we to do about the exam? Should we cancel it or should we continue on with it? We'll continue on with it for now, while at the same time try and find out what Orochimaru is up to, answered Sarutobi, where Anko just nodded again. What about the 2 boys? I will send a team of Anbu out into the forest to search for any signs of Naruto and Sasuke or of their teammates, replied the old Hokage. Once they finished speaking, Anko left the room and went to get some rest, leaving the Hokage alone in the room with his thoughts. As he looked out the window again towards the forest, the Sandaime could not help but silently curse himself for not stopping Orochimaru when he had the chance all those years ago. I was a fool not to have stopped you when I had the chance, and now because of it, Sasuke and Naruto have paid the price for my weakness, thought Sarutobi angrily, where he could only pray that Naruto was alive and safe. The next day, with Haku and her team following their finding of the injured Naruto, Haku and her team brought him to a nearby cave, so that he would have a safe place until he woke up. When they arrived at the cave, Haku had told them that they could go to the tower without her and wait for her there, stating that she would stay with Naruto until he had fully recovered. Both boys of course refused and stated that they would stay with her, since neither of them liked the idea of leaving their teammate alone, with the possibility of being attacked by a rival team with no one to help her. There was also the fact that their sensei Zabuza would be less than pleased with them if he learned they left Haku and Naruto alone and undefeated in the forest, where he would no doubt show them why exactly he was called Kirigakura no Kijin. Not to mention give them a first-hand experience as to why his sword was called Kubi Kiribocho, decapitating carving knife. When night eventually came and Naruto had still not woken up, Haku and her team agreed to take turns in guarding, while the others got some sleep. Haku volunteered to take the first watch, while Saito and Chojuro slept for the first few hours. As the night grew, Haku looked up into the night sky and saw that moon shining brightly and was at its zenith. As the moonlight shined down around the surrounding forestry, Haku suddenly sensed something, where she then noticed a glimmer of light coming from one of the bushes. Acting quickly, Haku immediately used her Hyoton ability and created an ice shield right in front of her in the entrance or the cave, protecting both her teammates and Naruto from the barrage of kunai and shuriken sent at them. As soon as Haku had erected her ice shield, both Saito and Chojuro immediately woke up and grabbed hold of their swords and stood next to Haku, as they quickly realized that they were under attack. Seeing that their sneak attack had failed, the three cloaked Amazonon jumped out from the bushes that they were hiding behind, after which one of the Genon walked forward and spoke. If you value your lives in any way, you'll hand over Senju Naruto to us, as our business is with him, not you. Why do you what Naruto-kun? What do you intend to do with him? Asked Haku, with a frown, as she already had an idea. That is of no concern to you, hand him over and you'll live, if not then you'll die here, replied another one of the Amazonon. No. Retorted Haku forcefully, as she drew out a set of senbon needles, as she prepared to fight, where her teammates followed suit, as they readied their own weapons. So be it, you had your chance, replied the last of the Amazonon, where the three of them charged straight at the Kiri Genon. When the two sides clashed, the 6 Genon spilt up to face against their opponents. Haku faced against the leader of the Amazonon, while her teammates faced off against the other Amazonon. As Haku faced the leader of the Amazonon, she quickly fired several senbon needles at the Ame team leader, who skillfully deflected the needles with a kunai, after which the Ame leader launched several shuriken at the Haku, who in turn skillfully avoided the shuriken. Although when she did, she suddenly saw the kunai that the Ame team leader had been holding a moment ago, flying towards her at high speed. Acting quickly, Haku spun around to her left to avoid the kunai aimed at her, where she then caught the kunai when it flew past her, after which she spun around to face the Ame leader again, where she then threw it straight back at the Amazonon, who avoided the kunai by quickly stepping to the right, where the kunai flew by and stabbed itself right into the tree directly behind the Ame leader. After seeing this, the Ame team leader was of course both surprised and impressed at Haku's skill. Impressive, it seems I can't afford to underestimate you, commented the Ame leader. You should not, for if you do, it'll be your last, replied Haku with a calm voice, as she took out another set of senbon needles and raced straight at the Ame nin. Seeing this, the Ame team leader acted quickly, took out another kwani and blocked Haku's attack with it, after which a battle for dominance began between the two team leaders, each trying to push the other back. Sadly though for the Amazonon, this was all according to Haku's plan, since now both team leaders were standing directly in front of one another and only had one hand free. This was of course all that Haku needed, where she then did a few quick on-handed hand seals and simply said Haijutsu, Senshatsu Suishu, secret technique, 1,000 flying water needles of death. After which she gathered some water from around the surrounding area, where 1,000 long water needles started to form all around them, upon which Haku then had all her water needles fly straight at her opponent from all angles, just when she jumped away from the Amazonon, leaving no chance for escape. But when the attack ended and Haku landed back on the ground a few feet away from the Ame nin, the enemy ninja reverted into water, revealing that Haku had been fighting a Mizu Bunshine, water clone. Seeing that she had been tricked, Haku quickly turned around and saw the Amazonon she thought she had been fighting, standing over the still unconscious and defenseless Naruto. When the female ice user saw this, she knew that she wouldn't be able to make it in time to save Naruto if she ran, since they were too far away. She also knew that neither of her teammates could reach Naruto in time either, since both were busy fighting with the other two Amazonon. Realizing this, Haku knew of only one way that she could reach Naruto in time and save him, where she did a several one-handed hand seal and disappeared in a whirl of ice. With the Ame team leader as Haku battled with the Ame nin's water clone, the real team leader snuck around the battle, while the water clone and the rest of the Ame nin's team kept Haku and her team busy and away from the defenseless Naruto. After sneaking into the cave, the Ame leader stood over the unconscious Naruto and smiled. All too easy, thought the Genon, but before the Ame nin could deliver the fatal blow, the cave suddenly began to get very cold and a mirror made out of ice appeared right between the Ame nin and Naruto, after which, Haku emerged out of it and punched the Ame nin hard, right in the face, sending the young Jinan flying out of the cave. Recovering quickly, the Ame team leader glared at Haku coldly, as she walked out of the cave to face the real Ame Nin, since if Haku hadn't interfered Naruto would be dead now. Damn it, it's bad enough she is a Hyoton bloodline user, but she incredibly fast, especially with that technique she just used, thought the Ame team leader. Why are you fighting so hard to defend him? Asked the annoyed Ame Jinan. Because he is my friend, replied Haku, as she readied herself, as she wasn't going to let her opponent get the better of her this time. Friend? Repeated the Ame team leader, with confusion. That's ridiculous. You're both from rival villages, besides in this exam, everyone that isn't on your team is your enemy. That is where you're wrong. Even though Naruto-kun and I are from different villages, it does not mean we cannot become friends, and regardless of this exam, I would gladly help him, for I know he would do the same for me if I were in trouble. Furthermore, I owe Naruto-kun my life, and I will do whatever it takes to repay that debt. Humph, nice speech, but if you're indeed so intent to dying to protect him, then I'll be more than happy to leave your corpses next to one another, stated that Ame team leader. After which two small hand-sized fans with spikes appeared out of the Ame Nin's sleeves and right into the Jinan's hands. I hadn't intended to get this serious in the exam, but you've left me no other choice, spoke the Ame Nin, after which the Jinan swung the fans and created a powerful wind current and sent it straight at Haku. Realizing what would happen if that attack hit her, Haku immediately created a large ice wall in front of her and protected herself from the deadly wind attack. When the attack ended, Haku saw the dozen or so deep gashes and slash marks on her wall of ice, which barely withstood the attack. Seeing this, Haku knew that she would have to be carefully with the Ame team leader, as it was oblivious that the young Ame Nin was no ordinary Jinan and had been well trained and was highly skilled. For the next few minutes the battle raged between the two Jinan teams, but unbeknownst to both sides, a dark aura started to form around Naruto. As the fight dragged on, Saito and Chojuro were able to push the other two Ame Jinan well back, forcing them to keep their distance from the two Kiri Jinan. But even with the fact that they were being pushed back, the Ame Jinan weren't finished yet and found a way to bypass their opponents, where the first Ame Jinan threw a kunai at Saito, whom he had been fighting against. Saito had of course sidestepped the kunai, where it just stabbed the ground. But what the young Kiri nin didn't notice until the kunai stabbed the ground, was that tied to the end of the kunai, was an exploding note. Seeing this, Saito had immediately jumped up into the air and barely avoided the explosion, where parts of his clothes had been slightly singed. But even still it gave the Ame Nin the opening he needed to bypass Saito, where he ran straight for Naruto. At the same time, the second Ame Nin who had been fight Chojuro, used a smoke bomb, temporarily blinded the young swordsman in training, allowing the Ame Nin to bypass him and head straight towards Naruto as well. Both Chojuro and Saito quickly recovered from the Ame Nin's diversionary tactics and proceeded to chase after the two Ame Nins. Sadly though, the two Ame Jinan had too much of a head start, where both boys realized that it was unlikely that they would catch up to them until it was too late. At the same time, Haku and the Ame team leader proved to be evenly matched, as both Jinan were at a deadlock with one another. As the fight dragged on, Haku turned around slightly and noticed the two Ame Jinan heading towards Naruto from opposite sides. Seeing that Naruto was in trouble, Haku prepared to use her ice mirrors again to transport herself to Naruto. But before she could, the Ame team leader cried out, "Oh no you don't," and created a large gust of wind and sent Haku flying to the side. Seeing that they had a clear shot at Naruto, the two Ame Jinan threw several kunai with exploding notes tied to them, at the cave that Naruto lay in. As soon as the kunai hit the inside of the cave, the notes tied to them exploded, causing the cave to collapse. "Naruto-kun," cried Haku with horror, as she feared the worst when the collapsed. "Humph, mission accomplished," commented the Ame team leader with a slight smirk of satisfaction. Haku of course was about to race over to the now collapsed cave in an attempt to search for Naruto, but before she could, she was stopped by Saito, who appeared next to her and held his arm out to stop her. "Haku, it's too late, he's dead. Even if he somehow survived the explosion, there's no way he could survive the cave falling on top of him." At this, Haku closed her eyes in sorrow, as she knew Saito was correct. Naruto was dead and it was her fault. She had failed to protect him. Soon enough though, Haku's sorrow turned to anger, as she opened her eyes, and glared with vengeful rage at the cloaked Ame leader, since they were the ones who had killed her friend. Seeing this, the Ame team leader just smirked with amusement, unafraid of Haku's vengeful stare. "Oh, are you angry that I kill your little boyfriend?" mocked the Ame leader. "Well, if you like, I'll be more than happy to send you to join him in the afterlife." At this, Haku became even angrier and drew out another set of senbone needles and prepared to attack the Ame Jinan. "Haku, don't," warned Saito, but it was to no avail, as Haku was fixed on the Ame Nin, where she pushed Saito's arm away. "Well, are you coming or not? Since the sooner we start the sooner," I can send you to your boyfriend in the next life, taunted the Ame leader after taking a fighting stance. I don't think that'll be necessary, spoke a familiar voice out of nowhere, causing both teams to start looking around. Quickly enough, Chojuro, who had joined Haku and Saito a moment ago, shouted out, "Look!" and pointed up to the top of a large tree near the cave. When everyone turned to look, they saw none other than Naruto standing proudly on a large thick tree branch without so much as a mark on him, with the exception of his clothes being a little ruffled up by the explosion. "Naruto-kun, you're alive!" cried Haku with clear relief in both her voice and on her face. Naruto of course just smirked in return of this statement, but when he did, Haku finally noticed that something was off about Naruto, since the smirk that Naruto gave her was not the same kind and friendly smirk that he would often give her and other people. This smirk seemed dark and almost sinister-like, and was only highlighted by the dark aura that surrounded him and the strange lines in a rip-like pattern that covered his body. Impossible. How can you still be alive?" cried the Ame leader. "Humph. As if I would die so easily. You seriously underestimated me," retorted Naruto with a smirk. "Well then, let's see if you can dodge us," cried one of the two Ame nins as he and his partner appeared in midair behind Naruto, where they attempted to stab Naruto with their kunai. But before their attacks could hit, Naruto disappeared in a blink of an eye. "What the hell?" cried one of the Ame Jinan, as he and his partner landed on the tree branch that Naruto was on a moment ago. "He disappeared, but how?" spoke the other Ame Jinan in confusion, as he and his partner looked around for any sign of Naruto. "Looking for me?" cried Naruto, where he appeared right above the two Ame Jinan and delivered a powerful falling elbow strike down on top of the head of one of the Ame Jinan, sending him face first, right through the tree branch and speeding down into the ground, creating a small crater. After taking care of one of the Ame nins, Naruto, who was now standing on another tree branch, faced the remaining Ame nin, who had jumped off the branch that Naruto destroyed when he hit his teammate. "It's your turn now?" asked Naruto with the same dark smirk on his face. Angered by what Naruto said, the Ame nin took out a set of kunai and threw them at Naruto, who easily sidestepped them. But what Naruto didn't know was that tied to the kunai was nearly invisible wire, which he used to control his kunai, where he had the kunai turn around and stab Naruto from the behind. But once again Naruto disappeared in the blink of an eye and reappeared right in front of the Ame nin, where he delivered a powerful knee to the chin, that sent the Ame nin up into the air. After which Naruto then reappeared over the Ame Jinan and cried out "Sutenkyaku," painful sky leg, as he delivered a powerful falling axe kick on the Ame Jinan's back, sending him crashing to the ground much like his partner. After dealing with the two Jinan, Naruto landed on another nearby branch and brought his hand up and began to open and close it with the same dark smirk still plastered on his face. As he looked at it, he marveled at how powerful he was feeling, since he couldn't believe how much stronger he had become, as he taken down the two Ame Jinan with ease and was able to deal all that damage to them without having to use his superhuman strength. So this is the power that Orochimaru was talking about. "It's incredible, I've never felt so strong before. It's as if all my abilities have doubled," thought Naruto. At the same time the Ame team leader grew concerned at how easily Naruto had defeated the others, not to mention the powerful dark chakra that was surrounding him. But despite this, the Ame leader was not about to fail and sent a powerful blast of wind at Naruto, where it destroyed a portion of the tree. Seeing this, the Ame team leader thought for certain Naruto was dead, only to be surprised when Naruto reappeared again few feet away from the Ame nin, with his katana in his hand and pointed forward as he charged at the Jinan. Reacting quickly, the Ame team leader caught Naruto's stabbing attack with the hand-sized fans that the Jinan was carrying and twisted the sword out of Naruto's hand with the two fans skewered to it. Naruto then quickly countered with a sharp kick to the abdomen, and sent the Jinan leader flying backwards a bit, before recovering. But before the fight could continue any further, Haku and her team appeared where they surrounded the Ame Jinan. Knowing when a battle was lost, the Ame team leader quickly smashed several large smoke pellets into the ground, causing a large cloud of smoke to appear around Naruto, Haku and the others. When the smoke dissipated, they saw the Ame team leader holding the other two Ame Jinan. "We'll leave this battle for now, Senju, but mark my words, we'll meet again and next time, you won't have your friends there to help you," spoke the Ame Jinan before disappearing in a puff of smoke with the other Ame Jinan. "As if I'm going to give you that opportunity," stated Naruto, as he picked up his katana and removed the two fans that were stuck to it and then started to walk away from Haku and her team. "Naruto-kun, where are you going?" asked Haku with concern. "What does it look like I doing? I'm going after them, and when I find them I'm going to kill them," replied Naruto with a sadistic smirk. That worried Haku, as this was not like him. "Naruto, there's no need for that. They've run away, they're not a threat to us," said Haku with concern at the way Naruto was acting. "They came to kill me, Haku-chan. That's more than enough reason for me to kill them. Besides, I haven't even warmed up yet and I want to see what else I can do with this new power, answered Naruto as he smiled darkly. At hearing this, Haku knew that there was something wrong with Naruto, since Naruto hated killing much like her and tried to avoid it as much as possible. It was then that she realized that the markings on his body were not only increasing his strength, speed and power, but were also affecting his mind. Naruto, stop this. This isn't you, pleaded Haku as she grabbed hold of her friend only to be pushed away. No, you're right, replied Naruto as he lowered his head. Seeing this, Haku smiled, thinking that she had gotten through to her friend, but that quickly changed when Naruto turned around with an evil-looking smile. I'm better than who I was, as with this power, I will finally acknowledge me and not because of my mother. At this, Haku became scared, as the dark power that was surrounding Naruto grew. No, Naruto, I won't let you go and turn into some kind of cold-hearted murder. I'll stop you, replied Haku, as she readied herself, as she hoped that when faced with the concept of fighting her, Naruto would return to normal. Sadly though, this did not work, for upon hearing this, Naruto just smiled. Really? Well then go right ahead and try and stop me. Let's see if you have become any stronger, Haku-chan, replied Naruto, as he readied himself. Naruto-kun, what happened to you? Thought Haku, where she and her teammate prepared to fight Naruto. Something is seriously wrong with this guy. It's as if he's a completely different person from the written exam. It must have something to do with those markings on his body and that foul chakra that is surrounding him, thought Saito, as he and Chojuro readied themselves for battle. As the three Kiri-nin readied themselves to fight Naruto, the dark foul chakra that surrounded him began to grow, as if it was gaining strength from Naruto's thirst for battle, where a large vortex of dark chakra surrounded and rose from the young Senju heir. Shit, this is getting out of hand. His chakra level is too big, too powerful, we can't beat that, thought Chojuro with fear. For like the others, he could see the foul chakra emanating from Naruto's body and knew that spelled serious trouble for them. Since he remembered from his lessons with his sensei Zabuza, that chakra could only be seen when a person was releasing a particular large and strong amount of chakra all at once. Hence, given what he was seeing, Naruto was emanating a large and very potent amount of chakra right now. Knowing what they were facing and hoping to finish the battle quickly, Saito quickly put his katana away and did 3 quick hand seals and brought his hands up to his mouth and cried out, Suten, Mizurappa, water style, violent water wave. Where he then gushed out a large amount of water from his mouth, not unlike a waterfall. The large wave of water quickly enveloped Naruto and flooded a small portion of the area in front of them. Got him, said Saito with a smile, which quickly disappeared, when he heard Naruto's voice speak from behind him. Afraid not hearing this, Haku and Chojuro turned around and saw Naruto standing directly behind Saito, with his back facing Saito's, who then tried to turn around. But before he could even try, Naruto delivered a sharp elbow to the back of the head, where thanks to Naruto's enhanced strength from the Earth Curse mark, the elbow strike was strong enough to send Saito flying forward and skidding across the flooded ground, before finally landing in a small crumpled heap, face first in water. Reacting immediately, Haku used her own high speed to appear behind Naruto and attempted to hit the blonde Jinan in the neck with her senbon needles, hoping to disable him. Sadly though, Naruto sensed her approach and spun around and caught her wrist before she could hit him. Nice try, Haku-chan, but not good enough, stated Naruto with a dark smirk, before swinging her around slightly and sending her flying into some nearby bushes. It was then at this point that Chojuro made his move, where he then had Hiramkare, twin sword, take the shape of a giant hammer and slammed it down on Naruto, where a large cloud of dust erupted. After hitting Naruto, Chojuro smiled in victory, thinking he had defeated the young Senju. Even his teammate Saito, who was picking himself up from Naruto's attack, smiled. Nice going, Chojuro, thought Saito. But when the dust finally settled, both boys' eyes widened in disbelief, when they saw Naruto blocking Hiramkare's hammer form with both his hands, as he dropped his katana to catch Hiramkare, standing in a small crater that was caused by Chojuro slamming Hiramkare down on him. Impossible, thought both boys at the same time. Pretty good, that actually made my arms go slightly numb, said Naruto, before he grabbed hold of the hammerhead and in a feat of incredible strength, threw both Hiramkare and its wielder over him, sending them both flying into a tree, and making a massive impact dent in the large tree, knocking Chojuro out. Such strength, and yet if what Haku and Zabuza-sensei said is true, he is much stronger than this, thought Saito with disbelief. After Naruto had taken care of Chojuro, he suddenly found himself surrounded by thousands of water needles. Seeing them, Naruto quickly realized that Haku had returned and saw her standing not far from his left hand a few meters away from him. It was then at this point that Haku activated her attack, and had all the water needles that surrounded Naruto converge on him. But within an instant, Naruto disappeared, before the water needles could hit him, and then reappeared to the left-hand side of Haku, where he attempted slash at her. Fortunately though, Haku was able to move away and avoid the slash in time, thanks to the many years of training she went through as Zabuza's student. At the same time, Sashio watched with disbelief, as Naruto had not only avoided Haku's Senshatsu Suishu, but also had snuck up on Haku and nearly cut her in two with his katana, which he had picked up, and did it all within a blink of an eye. What tremendous speed! He might very well be as fast as Haku, if not faster, thought Saito, since he knew that out of all the members of his team Haku was the fastest. After dodging Naruto's attack, Haku immediately took out a set of senbon needles and used them to block another strike from Naruto with his katana. As the two began to struggle for dominance, Haku quickly found herself being pushed back. But before Naruto could push her back fully, he suddenly heard Saito cry out Suten, Teppo Dama, water style, gunshot. And a large ball of water shooting forward him at great speed. Knowing that he couldn't avoid the attack in time, Naruto immediately pulled himself back, catching the Hyoton, ice release, user off balance, where he then kicked her away, after which he then channeled a large amount of his wind chakra into his katana and cried out Sarashu Fu, wind slash. Upon which a large crescent-shaped blade of wind erupted from his katana and spilt the large ball of water in two, causing it to fall apart. Naruto's wind attack although continued to move forward at immense speed, where it nearly split Saito in two, who barely avoided the attack, due to his shock at the technique Naruto used. That was too close, thought Saito after he barely avoided the attack and held his left arm as it bled from the light cut he received from Naruto's attack. That must be the Sarashu Fu attack that Haku mentioned earlier. Seeing that her teammate had avoided Naruto's deadly wind attack, Haku quickly attempted to take advantage of Naruto's distraction and disable him. Unfortunately though for Haku, Naruto saw Haku coming at him from the corner of his eyes and spun around and blocked Haku's needles with his katana, after which the two of them engaged in a fierce close-quarter battle. As the fight continued, Haku was soon joined by Saito, where he engaged Naruto with his own sword. For the next few minutes the three shinobi fought with one another, where despite having the enhanced power of Orochimaru's Earth Mark, Naruto found himself being pushed back, as Haku and Saito worked together to stand up to Naruto, where Haku used her own speed to keep Naruto at bay, while Saito supported Haku, with attacks from the side and behind, keeping Naruto off balance. Eventually though Naruto was pushed back into the area that was flooded with water from Saito's earlier attack. The fight of course continued on without halt, where after avoiding another of Naruto's slashes, Haku and Saito attempted to attack Naruto from two sides in the hope of creating an opening for the other to exploit. Seeing them, Naruto quickly turned his katana around and held it backwards and started to spin around at high speed, drawing the water around him to create a swirling waterspout, while at the same time crying out Senkai no Mizu, swirling water. 3. As the waterspout rose up, both Saito and Haku were forced to jump back to avoid the large mass of swirling water. But as soon as it rose up, the waterspout died down, although when it did Haku and Saito found that Naruto was nowhere to be found. As the two Kiri nins looked around for any sign of Naruto, Haku saw a slight blur at the corner of her eye, heading straight for Saito. Saito, watch out, Haku cried, as she tried to warn her teammate, but it was too late, as before Saito could do anything, Naruto appeared right below him and hit him straight in the stomach, with the bottom hilt of his katana, causing the young Kiri nin to keel over in pain. After which Naruto followed with a backward spinning kick to the face, which sent Saito flying backwards and skidding across the flooded ground, landing in a small heap, with his face looking to the sky. It was then, at this point, that Naruto appeared and stood over Saito with an evil-looking smirk and his katana in hand, ready to stab Saito through the heart with it. But before he could, Haku appeared to his left side and delivered a powerful flying double kick to the side of Naruto's head, sending the young Senju flying several meters away. Haku of course attempted to keep her advantage, where she unleashed a small barrage of senbon needles on Naruto, who quickly recovered from her strike and used his katana to skillfully deflect the needles. Once Naruto had deflected all her needles, Haku stood directly in front of Naruto, with only a few meters separating them. "Not too shabby, Haku-chan," commented Naruto with a dark smile, as he held the left side of his face, which was red from Haku's flying double kick. "That move actually hurt. You certainly have improved since we last fought." Haku of course did not reply to Naruto's comment, where she began to do hand seals at impressive speed. Seeing this, Naruto prepared to defend himself, as he was certain that Haku was preparing some kind of ice justu, especially since they were surrounded by water that was up to the feet. Within second, Haku finished her hand seals and cried out Hyoton, Hyoro no Jutsu, ice release, ice prison technique. After which the water around Naruto began to shoot up and envelope him, where it then froze, sealing him in a large block of ice. Once Naruto was sealed in the ice, Haku lowered her shoulders and let out a sigh of relief at the battle finally being over. "I'm sorry Naruto-kun, but you left me no other choice," said Haku, as she looked at her friend trapped behind inside the block of ice, where she hoped he could forgive her once they figured out what was wrong with him. But as Haku turned her back to Naruto and prepared to go help Saito, who was fairly bruised up from his fight with Naruto, she suddenly felt Naruto's dark chakra growing again. No, it's not possible, thought Haku with shock, as she turned around and saw the dark chakra emanate from the ice prison around Naruto. Before Haku could even attempt to try and contain Naruto, the ice prison began to crack, where it then shattered into pieces. Seeing this, Haku quickly raised her arms up to protect her face from the small shockwave that erupted from Naruto, as he broke free of the ice prison, as well as protect her face from the pieces of ice and the water that was sent flying through the air when Naruto broke free. Once the shockwave died down, Haku lowered her arms and saw Naruto slowly walking over to her, emanating an even stronger amount of dark chakra around him than did before. It took a moment or two for Haku to get over her shock and the slight fear caused by what just happened, but she quickly steadied herself to continue the fight. But before the female ice user could even make any kind of attack or put up any kind of defense, Naruto suddenly disappeared within the blink of an eye and reappeared right underneath her, where he then delivered a power kick to Haku's chin, sending her flying right up into the air, not unlike what Lee did when he fought Sasuke before the Chunin exam started. After launching Haku into the air, Naruto once again disappeared and then reappeared right over Haku, who was still stunned and unable to move after what just happened, upon which he then brought his right heel down onto Haku with immense force, sending her hurtling to the ground and making a small dent in it. Haku-chan, cried Saito, as he tried to get up, but held his stomach in pain from Naruto's hit earlier. Naruto then landed back on the ground and slowly walked towards Haku and picked the young girl up, and held her by the throat with a vice-like grip, nearly choking her, after which Naruto held up his katana ready to stab her right between her eyes. Well, it's been fun, Haku-chan, you put up an interesting fight, but as the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end. Naruto-kun, please don't do this, this is not you, you're not like this, you're a good and kind person, croaked Haku, as Naruto kept his vice-like grip on her throat. Please Naruto-kun, remember what you said to me at Nami no Kuni, you and I are friends. At hearing Haku mention Nami no Kuni and them being friends, Naruto started to have flashbacks of the events on the bridge of Nami no Kuni. Flashback as Naruto held his katana over Haku's face, the young ice user spoke, why do you hesitate? Kill me, I've lost my purpose in living, I've failed Zabuza-sama, I am no longer fit to be his weapon. What kind of fucked up crap are you talking about? You're not a weapon, you're a human being, you have your own life and your own free will, why the hell would you want to die, simply because I defeated you? Asked Naruto, since what Haku was saying didn't make any sense. For the next few minutes Haku went on to explain her life in Mizu no Kuni, Water Country, and how when Haku's father discovered that she and her mother were bloodline holders, he gathered a mob and killed Haku's mother and then tried to kill her, but were killed themselves when Haku accidentally used her bloodline to kill them. After the incident, Haku roamed the cold streets of Kiri during the dead of winter until she was found by Zabuza and he made Haku his weapon, thereby giving Haku a purpose in living again. When Naruto heard this, several different thoughts ran through his head, as he was unsure what to say or think at what Haku had told him. I can understand why you feel that you owe Zabuza after he took you in, but that still doesn't make it right that he views you and treats you like some kind of weapon, spoke Naruto. But that is what I am his tool to use in whatever way he wishes, spoke Haku. Stop being such a baka, Haku, cried Naruto angrily, which surprised the young ice user. You're a human being, just like me, you're not a tool, you feel pain, you feel joy, you feel sorrow and you have your own dreams just like me or anyone else. The only person that has a right to decide how you live your life is yourself, as it's your life, not his. As Haku heard this, the young ice user understood what Naruto was saying, but even still Haku was too loyal to Zabuza. If you say that I can choose how I live my life, Naruto-san, then I choose to serve Zabuza-sama as his weapon, as that is my purpose and my dream is to help him to achieve his dream, for he is my precious person and I would gladly give my life up for him, so kill me now and be done with it. Aag, cried Naruto in frustration. Damn it Haku, I won't kill you, simply because you think you should die. At this Haku couldn't help but smile kindly, despite the situation she was in, since the young ice user could tell that Naruto was a kind individually and that the two of them were a lot alike many ways. But as Haku and Naruto were talking to one another, the two shinobis heard a cry of pain, after which the mist slowly began to die down, where they then saw Zabuza and pack of dogs on top of Zabuza, biting deeply into his arms and legs, preventing him from moving. Also at the same time they heard a large chirping noise, where when they looked, they saw Kakashi holding his right hand, which was now covered in lightning. Shit's that Kakashi-sensei Reikiri, lightning cutter, thought Naruto in surprise at seeing the jutsus with his own eyes for the first time, as he had heard about it from his godfather, as it was one of Kakashi's strongest moves and was the advanced form of his only originally jutsu, the Chidori, 1000 birds. He had also heard from his godfather that Kakashi had given the technique this name after he cut a bolt of lightning with it. Upon seeing that Zabuza was in trouble, as well as seeing that Naruto was monetarily distracted, since he was looking towards Kakashi, Haku quickly took advantage of Naruto's distraction and spun around, kicking Naruto off his feet and making him fall onto his back, after which Haku then quickly got back onto her feet. But before she raced up towards Zabuza, Haku turned to look at Naruto sadly, who was still on the ground. "I'm sorry, Naruto-san, if we had met at another time and in another place, I believe we could have been friends." "But we're friends, Haku," spoke Naruto. End flashback. It was then after remembering this, Naruto realized what he was doing and let go of Haku, dropping the girl onto the flooded ground along with his katana. After which, he fell to his knees and held the side of his neck, where the curse seal was, and screamed out in pain. "No, I won't let you control me and make me hurt my friends," screamed Naruto in pain, as he started force the curse markings back by sheer willpower. Soon enough, the curse markings retreated back into the seal, after which Naruto started to faint heavily, since forcing the curse markings back had taken a lot out of him. "Naruto-kun, are you alright?" asked Haku as she went over to Naruto and helped him up. "Yeah, I think so," replied Naruto, before he looked up at Haku. "Haku-chan, I'm sorry for attacking you and your team, especially after you all risked your lives to protect me from those Ame nins. It was just when the curse seal activated I couldn't," apologized Naruto, but before he could finish, Haku placed her index finger on Naruto's lips to stop him. "It is alright, Naruto-kun, I understand, you are not yourself. This curse seal you mentioned was affecting you and turning you into something you're not," replied Haku, after she lowered her finger from Naruto's lips. "But I nearly killed you and your team," stated Naruto, as he couldn't believe Haku was being so forgiving of him after what he nearly did. "But you didn't, you fought the seal and proved that you were stronger than it," answered Haku. "Only because you helped me come to my senses, and for that I owe you, as well as for saving my life," Naruto said. "Consider us even, since you saved my life and changed it for the better," replied Haku with a smile, which Naruto returned, after which the two of them went over to Saito and helped him up and treated his injuries and did the same for Chojuro. At dawn, when the sun began to rise up into the sky, Naruto finished treating Haku's, Chojuro and Saito's injuries, during which, Naruto thanked both boys for protecting him from the Ame nins when he was unconscious and at the same time apologized profoundly for attacking them. Chojuro of course accepted both Naruto's thanks and apology. Saito on the other hand was not as forgiving as his teammates were, although it was more out of hurt pride than anything else, since other than when training with Haku or his sensei Zabuza, Saito had never been so utterly and hopeless outmatched and overpowered in his life. Once the two of them were finished being treated, Saito decided to get some answers from Naruto, since after everything he put them through, he believed that they at least earned the right to know what happened to the young Senju heir and why he went berserk on them earlier on. Naruto had of course not surprised by these questions, since he expected them to ask, and normally, Naruto would have refused to answer, since this was technically an internal matter to his village, given how it involved Orochimaru and he was after both him and Sasuke. But after risking their lives to protect him and how he nearly killed them in return, Naruto believed they had earned the right to know the truth, after which he then began to explain what happened after he was separated from his team. After about an hour or so, Naruto told them what had happened to him and his team, where once he had finished, all three Kirijinan were left utterly stunned. "So you're telling us that you took on one of the Densetsu no Sanin, legendary 3 ninjas, by yourself and survived?" spoke Chojuro with awe and disbelief. "Yay, but to be honest he was just toying with me and could have killed me whenever he wanted, where once he was finished he let me go," answered Naruto. "And that mark he gave you, why exactly did he give you it?" asked Saito, as he was curious as to why a rogue shinobi like Orochimaru would give Naruto something like the curse seal to Naruto, especially since it gives him such an incredible boast in power. "I don't really know myself, but I'm guessing he's hoping that by using this seal, he can corrupt me or turn me into some kind of puppet follower for him," replied Naruto. Since after what happened with Haku and the others, he figured that the seal not only gave him a boast in power but also affected his mind, turning him into someone like Orochimaru. As Naruto thought about the seal, it suddenly started to throb, as if it was burning him, making Naruto cringe and cover the seal with his hand. "Naruto-kun, are you alright?" asked Hao worriedly. "Yay, I'm fine, just the mark starting to hurt again," replied Naruto, as the pain slowly started to fade away. Haku of course frowned at this, and became even more concerned, as she wished she could do something to help Naruto. But unfortunately she knew very little about sealing, and even if she did, she doubted she could do anything to help her blonde-haired friend. Since Naruto had some skill in Fuinjutsu and even he didn't know anything about the seal or what to do about it. So what do you plan to do now? Asked Chojuro. Find my team and link up with them as quickly as possible, since Orochimaru placed the same kind of seal on Sasuke and it's possible that the others may be in danger. Since there's a good chance that Sasuke may go berserk like me and attack Sakura and Sai, explained Naruto. And how do you intend to find them? Asked Saito. I'll head back to where I fought Orochimaru and then use a technique I created a while back, where hopefully if they're not too far out of range I can find them, answered Naruto. When Saito heard this, he raised his eyebrow with interest, as he was intrigued with this technique Naruto mentioned and was curious to see it. If it's alright with you Naruto-kun, we would like to accompany you until you rendezvous with your team. Although I appreciate the offer Haku-chan, I can't ask you to do that, said Naruto. You do not need to worry Naruto-kun, because you do not need to ask, besides you're still recovering from the effects of the seal and forcing it back, as well as the injuries you received earlier on, hence you aren't at full strength, replied Haku with a smile. Naruto of course only sighed at this, as he knew he could not argue with Haku, since when it came to certain things she was as stubborn as a mule, where she wouldn't take no for an answer, plus he was in no frame of mind to argue with Haku. Not to mention he had to admit he could do with some help, should Sasuke get out of hand with the curse seal. Well, since you're back to normal now, I think we should give you this, spoke Saito, as he handed Naruto the earth scroll that Orochimaru left to Naruto after he had marked him. But don't you guys need it? Asked Naruto, where Saito shook his head. We have the other scroll needed, besides you need it more than we do, since you have to get 3 more scrolls, said Saito, where Naruto just nodded his thanks. After a few minutes, Naruto, Haku, Saito and Chojuro decided to move out, and start looking for the members of Team 7. Chapter 21 Mother's Fury. With Sakura and Sasuke. As the early morning dragged on into the afternoon, Sakura struggled to keep herself awake, as she had been up most of the night keeping watch over the unconscious Sasuke with Sai. They had of course tried to take turns in keeping guard, but Sakura found that she couldn't get any sleep as she kept having nightmares of Orochimaru and how close they had been in being killed. She also couldn't help but worry what happened to Naruto. Even though they didn't get on too well, that didn't mean she wanted him to be killed. When morning broke, Sai told her that he was going off to try and find Naruto and that he would be back in a couple of hours. It was then in mid-afternoon that Sakura's exhaustion had gotten the better of her, where she finally nodded off. Seeing this, the Auto team that Orochimaru had sent to test Sasuke and Naruto, after they had their curse marks placed on them, attacked. The team had tracked down Sakura and Sai not long after they had escaped Orochimaru and kept hidden from them until Sakura and Sai stopped, where they then watched over them until the time was right. When the Auto team attacked, they triggered some of Sakura and Sai's traps, but easily evaded them, where they prepared to kill her. Fortunately though, before the Auto team could kill Sakura, Rock Lee arrived and forced the Auto team back. He then engaged the team leader Dosu, where thanks to watching Dosu and his team attack Kabuto earlier, Lee knew he had to keep his distance from Dosu because of his melody arm. Sadly though, that had also put Lee at a disadvantage, given how he was strictly a taijutsu user and was forced to use his emote Renge, Front Lotus, in the hope of taking Dosu out quickly. Unfortunately Lee's attack failed, as Dosu's teammate Zaku interfered, where Lee's attack did little damage to him, after which Dosu struck back at Lee and used his melody arm against Lee, whose body was fairly worn out from using the emote Renge. Even after being hit by Dosu melody arm, Lee continued to try and defend Sakura and Sasuke, but given the damage he took from Dosu's melody arm and from using emote Renge, there was little he could do. He was eventually knocked out by Dosu, when the Auto Genon made a direct hit on him with his melody arm. After Lee had been defeated, Sakura tried to defend both Sasuke and Lee by herself, but despite her best efforts she was easily overpowered. During the course of the fight she was caught by Kin, who caught her by using her hair, where she then demanded Sakura tell them where Naruto was. Sakura of course answered that she didn't know, whereupon hearing this, Kin stated that Sakura was then of no use to them and prepared to kill her. But before she could, Sakura cut her long hair short, and freed herself from the Auto Kunoichi Kin, only to be then quickly caught by the Auto Kunoichi again. But just when Kin was about to finish off the pink-haired girl, Team 10, who were hitting in the tree line watching the battle, arrived. Together the 3 Genon were able to push the Auto Genon back and held their own against them. They even captured the Auto Kunoichi Kin, where Ino took possession of her body. As the battle continued, Lee's teammates Hyuga, Neji and Tenten arrived, where they prepared to enter the fray for what Dosu and his team did to Lee. But before any of them could enter the battle, they suddenly noticed the large pulse of dark chakra emanating from Sasuke, which had been slowly growing during the battle. When everyone finally took notice, they saw Sasuke standing up, surrounded by dark chakra and with markings covering his body. It was upon seeing this that Dosu realized that Orochimaru had placed his curse seal on Sasuke and that he and his team stood no chance of beating Sasuke with the curse seal helping him. But before he could order his teammate Zaku to pull back, his teammate attacked and tried to kill both Sakura and Sasuke with his Zankukyokua, extreme decapitating airwaves. Unfortunately though for Zaku, Sasuke was able to evade the attack, while carrying Sakura to safety at the same time. After which he easily defeated Zaku, with his Kaden, Hozenka no Jutsu, fire style, Phoenix Sage fire technique, combined with Shuriken and his newly enhanced speed from the curse mark, where he then dislocate both Zaku's arms. When those watching the battle saw this, many of them couldn't believe the brutality that Sasuke was showing. Those who knew Sasuke, like Team 10 and Sakura, were of course frightened by all this, especially when they saw the dark sadistic look on his face. This was only highlighted by the dark aura that was surrounding him along with the markings covering his body and his Sharingan being activated. After defeating Zaku, Sasuke then turned to Dosu, who immediately took a step back in fear, when he saw Sasuke looking at him. When Sakura saw this, she knew that there was something wrong with Sasuke and it had to do with the mark that Orochimaru had placed on Sasuke yesterday. But just when she was about to run over to Sasuke and stop him, the young Uchiha heir was forced to jump away, when he saw a gleam of light from his left, along with a fast-moving blur. After avoiding the blur, Sasuke quickly turned to see who his assailant was, where he narrowed his eyes with annoyance, when he saw that it was his part-time teammate Senju Naruto, who had now turned around to face him with his katana in hand. "Naruto!" cried Sakura with both surprise and relief, at seeing the young blonde alive and safe. "Naruto-kun!" cried Ino delight, at seeing her crush, as when she and her team were watching Sakura and Sai guard over Sasuke and saw no sign of Naruto. She had become worried that something may have happened to her crush. It was then, after Naruto arrived, that three more people appeared. The first was Saito, who came up behind Dosu, without the Ado Jinan knowing, and held his katana against the young Ado Nin's throat from behind. After which he then told Dosu not to move a muscle, which Dosu wisely obeyed, knowing he couldn't escape. The other two people to appear were Chojuro and Haku, who quickly appeared in front of Sakura and Team 10. At seeing Haku and her team, both Sakura and everyone else were naturally surprised and slightly confused at the Kiri team accompanying Naruto. "Haku?" spoke Sakura in surprise, when she saw the female Hyoton user. "Greetings Sakura-san, I am pleased to see you that you're okay," replied Haku, as she glanced slightly back at Sakura, while at the same time keeping a close eye on Naruto and Sasuke. "What are you doing here with Naruto?" asked the pink-haired Kunoichi. "You need not worry Sakura-san, we're here to help. My team and I came across Naruto-kun, when we were making our way to the tower, where we treated him and then accompanied him here." Upon hearing this, Sakura let out a sigh of relief, since with Haku and her team's help, they would able to stop Sasuke from going out of control anymore. "Kiri Shinobi, what are they doing here and why would they be with Senju?" thought Neji curiously, since he found it strange that the Kiri team were helping one of their rivals in this exam. "So you finally decided to show up, Senju. You always did have a flair for the dramatics, waiting until the last minute, to save the day. But it seems that you brought company as well," commented Sasuke, where he glanced at Haku and her teammates. Naruto of course ignored Sasuke's comment, where he just narrowed his eyes and stared at Sasuke, whose body was covered in the curse markings and surrounded by a dark sickly aura, which was no doubt caused by Orochimaru's curse seal. "Sasuke, stand down, the battle is over, you've won, there's no needed to kill them," spoke Naruto, as he tried to get Sasuke to see reason, even though he knew it would most likely not work. And just as Naruto feared, Sasuke did not stand down. In fact, he just smirked at Naruto's request. "Stand down?" asked Sasuke in mock surprise, "and why should I do something as foolish as that? After what they did to Sakura and how they tried to kill me, they wouldn't have shown us the same mercy if we were in their position." "Because you aren't in the right frame of mind, Sasuke. The mark is affecting your mind and is corrupting you, turning you into something dark and foul, just like him," stated Naruto. This of course got many confused looks from everyone observing Naruto and Sasuke, minus Sakura, Dosu, Haku and her team, who knew what Naruto was talking about. "Affecting me?" declared Sasuke with a half laugh. "The only thing that this seal is doing to me is making me more powerful, as I've never felt so strong in my life. With this power helping me, I can finally achieve my revenge and kill him." "Sasuke, I know right now you may feel invincible, but trust me, the power you're feeling is wrong, it's evil, let it go," Naruto said. "Huh, if I didn't know any better I would think you were scared of my new power," spoke Sasuke with a cocky looking smirk. "I am scared of that power. And it's because I know what I'm talking about. I was given the same thing," Naruto replied as he pulled the bandages that Haku placed over the seal slightly, allowing Sasuke, Sakura, Dosu, along with Haku and her team to see his seal. After seeing this, Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly, while Sakura and Dosu's eyes widened in surprise. "He's got the mark just like Sasuke-kun. thought Sakura in surprise. He has the curse seal as well, thought Dosu in shock, as he finally understood why he and his team were sent after Sasuke and Naruto. Originally, when they found Team 7 and saw no sign of Naruto, they assumed that he had been killed in the forest or had somehow got separated from them. Hence they attacked Sakura and Sasuke in the hope of getting one of their targets, while getting Sakura to tell them where Naruto was. But now seeing that Naruto had the curse seal like Sasuke, he realized that Orochimaru had only sent him and his team to test Naruto and Sasuke should they survive the curse seal and use them as guinea pigs. So trust me when I say that power isn't worth it, as it will turn you into something dark like Orochimaru. Believe me, I know, said Naruto. I don't care, cried Sasuke, you may be afraid of this power and not willing to use it, but I'm not. I am an Avenger, and as long as it helps me get what I want, I don't care about the consequences afterwards. When Naruto heard Sasuke answer, he knew that there was only one other course of action left. Well, if you aren't willing to listen to reason, then I just have to beat some sense into, replied Naruto, as he got into a fighting stance and prepared to fight the young Avenger. When Sasuke saw this, a predatory smirk appeared on his face. That's fine by me, since to be honest, Senju, from the moment I first saw what you could do, I've wanted to fight you, and with this new power that I have, I'll defeat you and be one step closer to achieving my goal. And quote. After which the young Uchiha heir took out an kunai and fell into a fighting stance of his own. For the first few moments the two heirs of the founders of Konoha stood opposite one another, waiting for the other to make the first move, while at the same time, those who were watching the two heirs stayed silent as they waited for the fight that was to come. Although two particular shinobi were watching the two Jinan with greater interest than everyone else. The first was the Hyuga Neji, the proclaimed prodigy of the Hyuga clan, who was eager to see what two of his greatest rivals in this exam were capable of. The second was another shinobi hidden in the tree near Neji and Tenten, who remained undetected from everyone else. After a minute or two of waiting, both Jinan decided they had waited long enough and charged forward at one another at the exact same time with impressive speed, where they quickly clashed with the individual blades. For the next few minutes the two teammates fought each other in a fierce battle, where each tried to hit the other with their bladed weapons, although neither was able to get the upper hand over the other. As the battle continued, Naruto was able to push Sasuke back a bit, where he fired the last of his shuriken at Sasuke, who easily deflected them and skillfully caught a few others before throwing them back Naruto, who in turn skillfully deflected them with his katana, while making sure that none of them hit anyone else who was watching the fight. After deflecting all of the shuriken, Naruto quickly realized that the shuriken were just a distraction, for when he looked up at Sasuke, he saw Sasuke finishing some hand seals before taking in a deep breath and exhale a large ball of fire, which then flew towards the blonde Senju. Knowing he couldn't avoid the large ball of fire at him, Naruto quickly channeled a large amount of his wind chakra into his chakra and swung it in a vertical slash and cried out Sarashu Fu, wind slash. What is that technique? Thought the Hyuga prodigy with surprise, when he saw the crescent-shaped blade of wind erupt from Naruto's katana. The blade of wind continued to fly towards the large fireball, with tremendous speed where it cut right through the fireball, splitting it in two, causing it to quickly dissipate. Huh? But how? Spoke Tenten in surprise. Guy-sensei told us that when certain elemental jutsu go against one another, the element that has the advantage will win, and fire is supposed to be stronger than wind. That is not what he exactly said, Tenten, stated Neji with a slight frown. Guy-sensei actually said that they would normally win, but there are exceptions, where elemental techniques can overpower other elemental techniques that would normally have the advantage over them, such as if they were at a higher level than the other, or if the user puts a larger amount of chakra in his or her technique than his opponent does, and given what we've just seen, Senju's technique is at a much higher level than Sasuke''s and quote. After seeing Naruto's Sarashu Fu cut his fireball in two and then continue towards him, Sasuke quickly jumped out of the way of the crescent wind attack, narrowly avoiding it, where it made a deep gash in the massive tree behind him. Once he had dodged Naruto's attack, Sasuke then quickly countered by creating several small fireballs and cried out Kaden, Hosenka no Jutsu, where he then sent the fireballs at Naruto, who in turn stabbed his katana into the ground and did his own scent of seals and spat out several large blasts of water which hit the small fireballs dead on and extinguished them. But what Naruto was unaware of was hidden in the flames were shuriken, much like what Sasuke did earlier when he fought Zaku. Seeing them, Naruto knew he couldn't block them all in time, given how close they were to him, leaving only one option. Dodge them. Acting quickly, Naruto grabbed his katana and tried to move out of the shuriken path. Unfortunately though, Naruto couldn't avoid them all, where he received a large shallow cut on his left arm and another on his left leg. But even after receiving so little damage from the attack, Naruto was still annoyed, as normally he could have avoided those shuriken despite how close they were. But given how he had not fully recovered from his own experience with the curse seal, his reaction time, speed and stamina were not as they used to be, leaving him at a further disadvantage. Since unlike him, Sasuke was intent to kill, there was also the fact that Naruto was also holding back since he didn't want to reveal too much of his abilities to those who were watching them. After avoiding the shuriken, Naruto prepared to counter with an attack of his own, but before he could, Sasuke appeared in front of him and delivered a powerful kick to Naruto's ribs on his left side and set him tumbling for several meters on the ground. After being set tumbling across the ground, Naruto struggled to pick himself up and gripped his side in pain, as Sasuke had kicked him in the ribs, which had been bruised when he fought Orochimaru. As Naruto tried to pick himself up, Sasuke once again appeared next to him and kicked Naruto in the side again, seeing that Naruto was hurting a lot from the kick in the side. "What's wrong, Senju? Don't tell me that is all you got?" said Sasuke with sneer after he kicked Naruto, who landed on his back and grunted in pain from his bruised ribs being kicked. After Naruto turned on his back, Sasuke then decided to continue with his beating of Naruto, where he raised his right foot and prepared to stomp his foot down on Naruto. Sakura and Ino of course cried out to Sasuke to stop, but sadly the young Uchiha ignored their cries and prepared to stomp his foot down on Naruto. But just as he did, Naruto caught Sasuke's foot and threw the Uchiha away from him, where Naruto then focused himself up and ignored the pain coming from his ribs. After being thrown away by Naruto, Sasuke quickly did a mid-air flip so that he would land on his feet. Once he landed on his feet, he saw Naruto charging towards him with incredible speed and his katana thrust forward. Seeing this, Sasuke continued to run straight at Naruto, but before Naruto's attack could hit him, he used his high speed to disappear in a blur right before Naruto's eyes, and reappeared behind his exposed back, kicking him right in the back, sending the young Senju heir flying forward. But despite being caught off guard, Naruto quickly recovered by bringing his left hand forward and flipping himself over to land back onto the ground, where he then spun around and charged at Sasuke, who in turn prepared himself for Naruto's next attack. Once Naruto was close enough to Sasuke, he then swung his katana that was in his left hand, in an upwards diagonal slash, which Sasuke saw with his Sharingan, and brought his kunai, which he was still carrying, up to block it. But much to his surprise, instead of Naruto's katana hitting his kunai, all Sasuke saw was Naruto's left hand moving past him and then an immense pain in his left side, where he was then sent flying several meters away. After being hit, Sasuke slowly picked himself up off the ground and held his left side at pain, as he was certain a rib had been cracked by that hit. After he picked himself up, he looked up and glared at Naruto. When he did, he then noticed that Naruto's sword was now in his right hand. It was then when he saw this, he realized that Naruto had somehow switched his katana from his left hand to his right when he was swinging it, making the first swing a fet, leaving him, Sasuke, open to the real attack. Sasuke also guessed that Naruto had also hit him with the back of his blade, otherwise he wouldn't be alive to realize that. "So I guess that was another one of your kenjutsu techniques that your sensei Kushina taught you," commented Sasuke, as he remembered Naruto mentioning the sword style that he was learning from Kushina when they were in Nami no Kuni, Wave Country. "Correct, that was the Mizu no Atsuan, rolling water, technique of my sensei's Arajuijan no Mai, dance of raging water goddess, style," replied Naruto with a slight smirk, since he was quite pleased with himself, as he had finally perfected Mizu no Atsuan, where he had switched his katana from his left hand to his right in an instant, where even if Sasuke had seen what he had done with his Sharingan, his body would not have been able to react in time. Soon enough though, Sasuke recovered and threw several shuriken at Naruto, who of course deflected them and then spun around to block Sasuke's sneak attack from behind, where he tried to stab Naruto in the back with his kunai. As the two of them struggled for dominance with one another, Naruto suddenly pulled his katana back, catching Sasuke off balance, where he then passed his katana from his right hand to his left from behind his back, and then hit Sasuke in his unguarded right side, cracking another of his ribs and sending the Uchiha stumbling sideways a few feet away. Sasuke of course quickly recovered despite his new injury, where he once again glared at Naruto angrily, as he had once again fallen for another of Naruto's kenjutsu techniques. Naruto on the other hand just smirked, as he was quite pleased with himself at performing Naguru Mizu, following water, so perfectly, since Kushina had taught him the technique right before he entered the exam. Having enough of Naruto's kenjutsu tricks, Sasuke decided to strike back by using his enhanced speed from the curse seal to appear on Naruto's left side and kicked in the ribs again, knowing that Naruto was injured there. After being kicked by Sasuke again, Naruto was sent flying through the air, but before he could recover, Sasuke appeared right above him and delivered a powerful falling axe kick on Naruto's chest, that sent Naruto straight down into the ground and making Naruto scream in pain. "Naruto-kun," cried Ino in fear at seeing Naruto being slammed into the ground by Naruto. "Naruto," thought Sakura with worry, as she feared that Sasuke would kill Naruto. Fortunately though for Naruto, After the many years of dodge training and taijutsu training with his mother, Naruto had developed a high tolerance for pain. Hence he had been hit with a lot harder kicks than the one Sasuke hit him with. But as he lay on the ground he could not help but feel frustrated at how he was letting Sasuke beat him around like a punching bag. Since if he could use his Makuten bloodline, he was certain he could beat Sasuke and have him restrained by now. But unfortunately he couldn't afford letting others like Team 10, Haku and her team and Lee's team learning about his bloodline, at least not yet. Not to mention Sasuke was intent on killing him, while he was trying to take down Sasuke without hurting him too badly. As Naruto lay unmoving on the ground with his eyes closed, Sasuke stood over his with a victory smirk on his face. Well, it looks like you're finished, Senju, although I have to say I'm disappointed, as I had hoped you would make for a better challenge, spoke Sasuke. But as soon as he had said this, Naruto suddenly opened his eyes and spun around and did a leg swipe, kicking Sasuke off his feet and causing him to fall on his back. He's quite durable, thought Neji, surprise, as he was certain that Naruto would be finished after taking Sasuke's last attack. But despite Naruto catching him by surprise, Sasuke quickly recovered, where he jumped back onto his feet and smirked at Naruto. Not bad, Naruto, but still not good enough, so you might as well give up now and save yourself a lot of pain. Since with his power you can't beat me, at least not in the shape you're in now, said Sasuke. I wouldn't be so sure of that, Sasuke replied Naruto with a knowing smirk, which made Sasuke frown. But before he could comment on it, Naruto suddenly took out all his smoke bombs and smashed them onto the ground, filling the area with smoke. Although this wasn't ordinary smoke, for mixed in with the smoke was pepper powder, which filled the smoke-filled area, blinding Sasuke. Ah, my eyes, cried Sasuke in pain, as his eyes started to burn from the powder and was forced to shut them, after which he then started to cough repeatedly as his throat started to burn as well. With Sasuke blind and distracted from the smoke pepper bombs, Naruto, who was holding his breath and had his eyes closed before he released the smoke pepper bomb, used his Chakura no Purusu, chakra pulse, to locate Sasuke in the cloud of smoke. What was that? Thought Neji from up the tree and outside the cloud of smoke, where he saw a large pulse wave erupt from Naruto after he touched the ground with his two front figures. Since he had used his Byakugan to see what was happening inside the cloud of smoke, when Naruto smashed the smoke pepper bombs. Once Naruto had located Sasuke, he quickly sped towards him at high speed and delivered a powerful rising kick to Sasuke's chin, which sent the young Uchiha flying up into the air and out of the cloud of smoke. Naruto then quickly followed after Sasuke, where he appeared right above Sasuke with his legs stretched out, where he cried out Gekakyaku, hammer kick, B, and delivered a powerful blow onto Sasuke's chest which sent him hurtling to the ground. That's like one of Lee's moves, stated Tenten in surprise, when she saw Naruto's Gekakyaku. Obliviously Senju Naruto mimicked one of Lee's moves after watching him and Sasuke fight before the written exam, commented Neji after he saw the move. When Sasuke hit the ground, he made a small dent in the ground and was then sent tumbling across the ground for several feet, before coming to a stop when he hit a large tree. As the smoke slowly blew away in the gentle wind, Sasuke slowly picked himself up and used the tree that he hit as leverage to help him keep steady. At the same time Naruto gracefully landed on the ground, where he then threw his last few kunai at Sasuke. The young Uchiha heir of course couldn't avoid the shuriken, since he was still blind by the pepper powder that was in his eyes, although even if he could, given the damage he took from Naruto's Gekakyaku, it was unlikely he could have avoided them in time to begin with. But fortunately though for Sasuke, Naruto's goal was not to kill him, but to restrain him, where the kunai flew right past him and the ninja wire that Naruto had tied to the shuriken wrapped itself around Sasuke, tying him tightly to the tree behind him and preventing him from moving. What's going on? Cried Sasuke with confusion as he still couldn't see, but felt himself be restrained by the ninja wire. I'm sorry Sasuke, but this is for your own good, said Naruto, before he took out a senbon needle and threw it at the restrained Sasuke, where it hit a certain point of Sasuke's neck, that put him into an unconscious state. Once Sasuke was put into his unconscious state, the curse marking around his body started to recede back into the curse seal. Seeing this, Naruto knew the battle was over and let out a tried sigh and held his left side in pain, as it still hurt. But he quickly pushed it to the back of his mind, as he didn't want to show any weakness right now. Even if his fight with Sasuke was over, he still had some possible enemies to deal with. Sasuke-kun, cried Sakura as she raced over to the tied up and unconscious Sasuke. When she reached him, she saw the needle in his neck and quickly turned to Naruto. I is Sasuke-kun Dea, spoke Sakura with fear but was interrupted by Naruto before she could finish. No, I hit Sasuke in a certain spot that put him in a sleep-like state, similar to what Haku did before, and as long as that needle stays in him he'll stay like that. So for now I think it would be best to keep him like that, replied Naruto, with a tried sigh. Sakura just nodded at this, as she was relieved that it was finally over and that Sasuke and Naruto weren't badly hurt. At the same time, Dosu, who was still held by Saito, just stared at Naruto with awe and slight fear. Unbelievable, he was actually able to defeat the Uchiha, despite him having the curse mark, and he didn't even have to rely on his own to do it, thought Dosu. He's clearly no ordinary Genin. Soon enough though, Dosu's focus turned fully to Naruto, who had now turned to him and Saito and was walking towards them. After which Naruto then pointed his katana directly at Dosu's face, making the Otonin very nervous. If you value your life and the lives of your teammates, you will accept the offer I'm about to make, spoke in a cold and serious tone. This of course surprised those that knew Naruto, since they'd never heard him speak like that to anyone. What sort of offer? Asked Dosu as he did his best to remain calm and show no fear, despite the situation he was in. You'll hand over your scroll to me and in return we'll allow you to leave with your team peacefully, answered Naruto. And what would happen should I refuse this gracious offer of yours? Asked Dosu. At this Naruto did not answer, but gave Dosu a look that would have made even a Chunin take a step back in fear. When Naruto stared right at the Dosu, the Otonin couldn't mask the fear in his one revealing eye this time, as the look Naruto was giving him told him that Naruto wasn't someone to be trifled with, and given what the Otonin saw when Naruto fought Sasuke, it didn't take much convincing to believe it. Saito, who was standing behind Dosu, couldn't blame the Otonin for being afraid of Naruto, especially at the way Naruto was looking at him now. For as Naruto stared down at Dosu, his eyes were alight with a cool fury like blue flames which radiant power from them. Very well then, I agree, replied Dosu, that it would be pointless to refuse. At this Naruto only nodded and told Saito to let go of Dosu, after which Dosu gave Naruto his Team Earth scroll, where he then went over to his two teammates who were unconscious and picked them up. But before he could leave, Naruto decided to ask Dosu some questions. Before you go, I want you to tell me what were your orders concerning Sasuke and me? Asked Naruto. Our orders were simply to track you down and kill you both, replied Dosu. So you knew nothing about the seals that he placed on us then, stated Naruto with a slight frown. No, we weren't told that, answered Dosu with a frown, since if he and his team had known about the curse seals, they would never have attacked Sasuke. Fine, you can go, finished Naruto, where Dosu just nodded and jumped away carrying his teammates. Once Dosu had left with his teammates, Naruto then turned to look up at Neji and Tenten, who were still up in the tree watching Naruto and the others. You're Hyuga Neji, correct? Asked Naruto, remembering the names of Lee's teammates when Sasuke asked Kabuto to tell him about Lee. I am, replied Neji with his left eyebrow raised. Good, then I have a deal for you as well, spoke the blonde Senju. What sort of deal? Asked Neji as his left eyebrow rose slightly higher. Even though we are all rivals for this part of the exam, I propose that we call a truce, since we all either have injuries or injured teammates and any further battle would be pointless. In return, both Haku-chan and I will treat Lee's injuries. And why would you help him, since with Lee injured, your chances of defeating us are much better? Asked Neji. Because Lee came to the defense of Sakura and Sasuke when he didn't have to, and if weren't for his interference, along with Ino-chan and her team, both of them would most likely be dead. I owe him that much and I always repay my debts, answered Naruto. An admirable statement, but still, why should we agree to this? As unlike the rest of you, both Tenten and I are fresh and uninjured, while the rest of you are tired and, as you said, injured from battle, where if we should fight, I believe the odds would be in our favor, stated Neji. Are you sure about that? Asked Naruto with a knowing smirk, which made the young Hyuga prodigy frown and wonder what Naruto was up to. Although it is true that several of us are injured and a bit tried, that still doesn't change the fact that you're outnumbered here, as Ino-chan, Haku-chan and their teams are more likely to side with us in a fight, and even if you should defeat us, neither you nor your team will come out of it unscathed and will be easy prey for any other teams you may meet on your way to the tower. Although that's if we even give you the chance to attack, isn't that right, Sai? Once Naruto said this, Neji and Tenten suddenly found several ink lions surrounding them. Not bad, Senju, I guess nothing slips by you, spoke Sai, as he appeared in a tree near Neji and Tenten. Where the hell did he come from? Thought Tenten with surprise as she never sensed Sai. Neji too was also surprised at Sai's sudden appearance, as he realized that Sai must be highly skilled in stealth to come so close without Tenten or him sensing him. Neji also realized that Sai must somehow know the extent of how far he could see when he had his Byakugan activated and kept himself just out of his, Neji, range so not to be seen. So Hyuga Neji, do we have an accord or not? Asked Naruto with a confident look. Seeing the situation they were in, Neji frowned slightly as he realized that if they fought now, it was possible they would lose, and even if they should win, it would not be without serious cost, given how they were outnumbered and surrounded. Not to mention there was Naruto, as something told Neji that there was more to the younger blonde than what he was showing. We're in agreement, for now at least, stated the Hyuga heir as he maintained the frown on his face. Good, replied Naruto with a smile, as he let out a slight sigh of relief, as he was glad that Neji agreed. Since Naruto wasn't sure what would happen given how he wasn't 100% and was running low on chakra. The only reason he even knew that Sai was nearby was because when he used his Chakura no Purusu to locate Sasuke in the smoke cloud, he located Sai hidden in the tree near Neji and Tenten. Once everyone was in an agreement to the truce, Haku and Naruto started to treat Lee, Sakura and everyone else for their injuries. Fortunately though, none of the injuries were life-threatening, although Lee's injuries from Dosu's melody arm took a little longer to treat. But eventually they healed his injuries, after which Tenten woke her teammate by shaking him like a rag doll and slapping him on the face. The method was of course unusually, but neither Naruto nor Haku could argue with the result as Lee did wake up. Soon after Tenten filled in Lee on what happened, after he was knocked out. The green jumpsuit wearing boy was of course surprised when he heard how Naruto was able to mimic one of his moves so well, after only seeing it once, and then incorporate it into his own fighting style. Lee of course did not mind this, but stated that he now wanted to fight Naruto even more now, something that Naruto wasn't bothered by, since he knew Lee was strong and wanted to face against him as well. After everyone was healed, Sakura then asked how Naruto met up with Haku and her team. Naruto of course explained what happened, and how they had found him and how they had defended him from a group of Amazinon, who were seemingly targeting him. Although he did leave out the part about going berserk and attacking Haku and her team, since doing so would mean he would have to explain the curse seal and their meeting with Orochimaru to everyone else. Something Naruto believed they were better off not knowing. When Ino asked who had defeated Naruto, since to her Naruto was the strongest Shanan here, Naruto simply stated it was a strong shinobi from one of the other villages, which was partly true. When Shikamaru heard Naruto's reply, he of course grew suspicious, since it was obvious that there was more to Naruto's story than what he was telling them. But he decided not to pry since it wasn't their problem. Soon after though, Naruto asked Neji to use his Byakugan and look at Sasuke to make sure that the curse seal had fully receded. Neji of course did not like being ordered around by Naruto, but still did so anyhow, and saw that the dark chakra that the Uchiha used earlier had indeed receded and that there were only trace amounts left. After he had examined Sasuke, Neji also looked at Naruto with his Byakugan and also saw trace amounts of the dark chakra in him, indicating that Naruto too had the curse mark. When Neji stated this and asked Naruto to tell him what the curse seal was, Naruto refused to answer, stating that it was none of his concern and that he was better off not knowing. This of course did not sit well with Neji, since he did not like being pushed aside by anyone. But before he could press the matter any further with Naruto, Tenten placed her hand on his shoulder and told him to back down, as they had all agreed to a truce. At this Neji relented, although he retained a large frown for the next few hours over not getting any answers. Once the matter with Neji had been dealt with, Naruto went over to Sai and asked him where he was and why he left Sakura alone with Sasuke. Sai of course explained that he had left to go search for him and came back here when he couldn't find him or any tracks as to where he went. He then stated that as he was looking for Naruto, he ambushed a rival team and took their heaven scroll off them when he defeated them. Meaning that Team 7 once again now had 3 scrolls and only needed another heaven scroll to enter the tower. Naruto only nodded after hearing Sai's story and kept a blank look on his face, as he didn't buy Sai's story in the slightest. At least not the part about looking for him, since he and Haku along with her team had returned to where he had fought Orochimaru, where Naruto then used his Chakura no Purusu along with the tracking skills he had learned from Amoy to find where Sai and Sakura went with Sasuke. Hence if he was telling the truth, then they would have met Sai or seen the rival team he fought on their way here, or at least Naruto would have sensed them nearby when he used his Chakura no Purusu to track them. Realizing this, Naruto figured the young root agent had gone off somewhere to secretly send word to Danzo of what had happened and then waited for orders on what he should do next. Naruto of course knew he could challenge Sai on his lie, try and force him to tell him the truth and what his orders were, but decided not to, since he knew it would get him nowhere and just expose the fact that he was on to Sai and lose any edge he may have over him. Soon enough though, Naruto turned away from Sai and went over to Sasuke and pulled the senbone needle out of his neck, immediately awaking the Uchiha heir up, where he tried to stand up only to fall down when Sakura jumped on top of him and hugged him tightly and saying she was glad he was okay. Eventually though Sasuke got Sakura off him, where he then turned to Naruto and asked him what had happened, as his memory was slightly hazy when it came to what happened when he fell unconscious after Orochimaru placed the curse mark on him. Naruto of course gave him a quick brief on what happened and how he was forced to knock Sasuke out when he went berserk. As Naruto told him what happened, Sasuke's memory of the event started to slowly come back, where when Naruto finished, he remembered everything that happened. After Naruto finished, much to Male Blonde's surprise, Sasuke actually apologized for attacking Naruto, a gruff apology, where he grunted it, but an apology nonetheless. Although after Sasuke grunted out his apology, Naruto noticed that there was something up the young Avenger, as he saw that Sasuke was slight upset about something. But before he could ask, Naruto suddenly felt a sharp pain in his left side, where he hissed angrily and held his left side. Naruto-kun. Spoke both Ino and Haku, where both girls went over to Naruto. What's wrong, Naruto-kun? Asked Ino, when she and Haku went over to him. It's my side. I think one of the ribs that were bruised from my earlier fight was broken from when Sasuke kicked me, replied Naruto as he started breathing harshly. Bring him over to the tree hollow, where I can treat him, ordered Haku, where Ino and Lee, who had come over to help bring Naruto to the tree hollow, where they placed him against it. After putting Naruto next to the hollow, Haku and Ino helped him take off his katana and sheath along with his green zip-up top and his black tank top that he wore underneath it. After helping Naruto take off his upper clothing, Ino couldn't help but blush, as Naruto was the first boy she was seeing topless. Naruto was skinny and had few muscles since he was only 13 and only developing, but still when he got older, there was little doubt he would develop well. With Ino's help, Haku slowly and gently removed Naruto's bandages that she had wrapped around him earlier. She then used her Shosen Jutsu, mystical palm technique, to help heal Naruto's broken rib, after which she then spread some ointment on the bruised area to ease the pain and with Ino's help, started to re-bandage him. As the two girls were re-bandaging the blonde Senju, Ino decided to ask Naruto something that she had been wondering. Naruto-kun, what was that smoke that you used against Sasuke to make his eyes hurt? Just some pepper powder, mixed with smoke powder, answered Naruto. So how did you know that it would be so effective to beat Sasuke? Ino asked. His Sharingan, answered Naruto. His Sharingan? Repeated Ino in confusion, not understanding what Naruto meant. It's simple, in the shinobi world, Dujutsu bloodlines like the Byakugan and the Sharingan are feared for their unique abilities and for seeing things that other people can't. This is of course, both their greatest strength and their greatest weakness. I don't get it, stated the confused girl. Like most bloodline users, Sasuke relies a great deal on his Sharingan, hence if someone were to take away his ability to see, his fighting ability would be greatly reduced, making him more vulnerable to attack, explained Naruto, where Ino's eyes widened in understanding. Where did you come up with that idea? Asked Ino. Back when I was in Nami no Kuni, Wave Country, when I fought against Zabuza and Haku, Naruto replied, where he looked at Haku. You're referring to how Zabuza-sama used Kirigakure no Jutsu, hidden mist technique, to prevent Hitake-sans from seeing him and using his Sharingan to hypnotize him, stated Haku. Yay, although unlike him, I'm not able to use Kirigakure no Jutsu or use silent murder technique. Hence I had to make do with the pepper smoke bomb and a unique technique I created to find people when I can't see them, replied Naruto. Naturally, after hearing this, both girls were surprised and impressed with Naruto's ingenuity, at how he was able to come up with such an effective plan to defeat Sasuke without seriously hurting him, in the heat of battle. Once the girls had finished treating Naruto, Tenten walked over to them. Are you okay? Yay, I fine thanks to Ino-chan and Haku-chan, replied Naruto, as he put back his black tank top and his green zip-up top. Your elite teammate Tenten, correct? Hi, it's pleasure to meet you, Naruto-sama. Replied Tenten, although as soon as she said this Naruto held out to stop her from saying anything further. Please Tenten-san, call me Naruto, I don't really like being referred in any honorifics, replied Naruto. At this Tenten just nodded and decided to continue the conversation, since she had wanted to talk to Naruto for a while. If you don't mind me asking, what Kenjutsu style were you using? Since I've never seen one like the one you used when you fought Uchiha Sasuke, Tenten asked. The style is called Arajuijin no Mai, I learned it from my sensei Uzumaki Kushina, Naruto answered. So it's true then, you were trained by Konoha's Barati Shinku no Ikari, Bloody Crimson Fury, stated Tenten, where Naruto just nodded. Would it be okay if I looked at you, Katana? Tenten asked, which of course got a curious look from Naruto, as well as Ino and Haku. May I ask why? Well, it's just that I'm interested in weapons and I would like to examine it, explained Tenten, where Naruto raised his eyebrow curiously, but soon just nodded and handed his katana, which was lying next to him, to her. As she examined the sword, Tenten was quite impressed with the blade, as it was clearly first-rate craftsmanship and was made of high-quality metal which allowed chakra to be absorbed and flow through the blade. This is a top-notched katana you have here, stated Tenten when she resheathed Naruto's katana and handed it back to him. Where did you get it from? Well, when I was traveling with my Kachan and my Nei-san, I met a guy who taught me about Kenjutsu, along with some other things, where he later gave me this katana as a gift, answered Naruto, where he hoped Tenten would believe him, since it was sort of true. Well, whoever he was good friend, if he gave you this, replied Tenten. Relieved that Tenten believed him and didn't press him further, Naruto then decided to steer the conversation from him and onto her. You seem to know a lot about weapons and know how to tell if they are well made or not. That means you must specialize in using them. Hi, I do. I'm not really that skilled when it comes to ninjutsu, nor do I know many of them. But when it comes to weapons and marksmanship, there's no one better than me, has rarely missed my target. But my real goal is to be a great kunoichi just like your mother Tsunade-sama, as she short of my idol Tenten answered, though was slightly embarrassed how she told Naruto's mother was her idol. Naruto although just smiled, since it was obvious that Tenten was a kunoichi who took her duties seriously and didn't worry about her looks or obsess over guys like Ino and Sakura did. Well, if you like, I can introduce you to my Ka-chan, as I'm sure she would be happy to hear that she inspires someone like you in to become a strong kunoichi. You'd really do that? Asked Tenten excitedly at the idea of meeting her idol. Sure, my Ka-chan will eventually be coming back to Konoha, and when she does I introduce you both, Naruto replied with a smile. Although as soon as he said this, the elder girl enveloped him in a tight hug, saying thank you over and over again. Now normally the blonde Senju wouldn't mind this, but given how his sides were still a bit tender, from his broken rib, the hug was quite painful. Fortunately though, Ino, who was a bit jealous at the fact that the bun-haired girl was hugging her Naruto-kun, pulled her off Naruto, after which Haku quickly used her Shozen Jutsu to ease the blonde's tenderness. Realizing that Naruto was still a bit sore, Tenten quickly apologized, which Naruto accepted and told her it was alright, since he knew she didn't mean any harm, and assured her that he had been through a lot worse. Soon after, once everyone was healed and rested, the four teams broke apart, where Haku and her team headed off to the tower, while Team 10 and Lee's team headed off in their own opposite directions, leaving Team 7 by themselves, to search for the last scroll they needed. 3 days later, last day of the exam, for the past 3 days Naruto and Team 7 had been searching for other teams who would have the last heaven scroll they needed. Sadly though all their attempts failed, as they only came across 3 other teams who all had earth scrolls, and now they were running out of time. After another failed search for a rival team, Naruto and Sai decided to return to their camp, where Sasuke and Sakura were waiting for them. But when they returned to their base camp they saw Sasuke and Sakura standing with Yakashi Kabuto. Sasuke, Sakura, what the hell going on and why the hell is he here? Naruto asked when he arrived with Sai, and narrowed his eyes at Kabuto when he turned to him, who just smiled. Sasuke of course explained how when he went to get some water and came back, he found Kabuto stopping Sakura from opening one of the scrolls. At this the pink-haired girl just hung her head in shame and said nothing, since she had thought that if she opened one of the scrolls she might find a clue that would help them find the scroll they needed. Upon hearing this, Naruto had to resist the urge to slap his forehead in frustration at how Sakura could be so foolish, and wondered how the girl was credited of being the smartest of their class, since they had been told that they were forbidden from opening the scroll they were given. It seems we owe you one, Kabuto-san, but tell me, why exactly are you alone? Asked Naruto, since he didn't like Kabuto, especially after he put a target on his head by mentioning he was trained by both his mother and Jiraiya. I'm not after your scrolls if that's what you're worried about, Kabuto answered calmly, where he then showed Naruto and the others his 2 scrolls. I got separated from my team, so I decided to head to the tower, where we would most likely meet up. After showing Team 7 his scrolls, Kabuto then put them back in his pouch and started to walk away. But before he could fully walk away, Sasuke suddenly spoke up. Wait. Yes, fight us, demanded Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, you can be serious. Spoke Sakura in surprise. I am, answered Sasuke as continued to stare at Kabuto, who had turned around fully to look at Sasuke. But why? Asked Sakura. We're running out of time, Sakura, and we can't afford being nice any longer, stated Sasuke. For once I agree with Uchiha, spoke Sai. As do I, Naruto added, even though normally he would be against something like this. Sasuke was still right, as they were running out of time, although it did help that Naruto didn't like Kabuto to begin with. But you said that we owed Kabuto, stated Sakura. Yes, but right now we're desperate, and unless you want to fail, we need Kabuto's scroll, answered Naruto, leaving Sakura unable to argue. I'm afraid they aren't wrong, Sakura-san, although I commend you on your courtesy, since most people in your position would have just attacked me when my guard was down, which is what shinobi are supposed to do, aren't they? Stated Kabuto, causing the 3 boys to frown. Perhaps we can come to some sort of compromise, offered Kabuto. What sort of compromise? Asked Sai, retaining a neutral expression. I can lead you on the correct path to the tower, and on the way there, we are more likely to run into rival teams who have both heaven and earth scrolls, explained Kabuto. I get it. If we do this, then we can ambush another team on their way to the tower, and get the scroll we need, said Sakura as she realized the plan. But that isn't the only possibility, is it? Stated Sasuke, gaining everyone's attention. Since there is also a good chance, given how the exam is nearly over, that other teams will have the same idea and lay in wait to ambush us. That's correct, I'm impressed, spoke Kabuto with a smirk. Well, as helpful as all this information is, I don't think that you're just telling us this, simply out of the goodness of your heart, stated Naruto with a frown. Oh, what do you mean? Asked Kabuto with a knowing smile. The reason why you're telling us all this and why you stopped Sakura from opening the scroll, is because you're afraid of those other teams that are lying in wait. Hence you're hoping to use us to help you get to the tower safely, since your chances of making it there with us are better than you going by yourself, explained Naruto. Impressive, commented Kabuto. It seems that katana isn't the only sharp thing on you, Naruto-kun. As you're correct, I am using you to get to the tower. But even still, you cannot argue that it is your best option if you wish to move on to the next round of the exam. At this, Naruto only frowned, since as much as he hated to admit it, Kabuto was right. If they wanted to pass, they needed another Heaven Scrolls. After a minute or two of weighing over their options and talking it out, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 agreed to travel with Kabuto to the tower. As Kabuto and the members of Team 7 continued to travel towards the tower, it grew dark and the moon started to rise up, although the tower soon came into sight, indicating that they were getting closer to the tower. But as time moved on and the moon rose higher, the team realized that they weren't making any progress. Guys, I think we're caught in some kind of genjutsu, stated Naruto. I agree, as it's the only explanation as to why we haven't gotten any closer to the tower, spoke Sai. But what kind of genjutsu is I? Asked Sakura. It's called Kori Shinshu no Jutsu, Sly Mind Effect Technique, answered Kabuto. You know it? Asked Sasuke. I've heard of it. It causes the targets to walk around in circles for hours by making it seem as if they're walking straight to their desired destination. It mainly used by shinobi who aren't very strong, where they try to wear their opponents down before attacking. I was careless not to have noticed it sooner, said Kabuto. Seeing that Kabuto and the others had realized that they were caught in a genjutsu, the three Ame nins who had created the genjutsu decided to move on to the next phase of their plan, where they then used Kasumi Yusha no Jutsu, Mist Servant Technique, to attack Naruto and the others. When the clones appeared around them, the team quickly formed up in a circle formation with their backs to one another. Once they had formed up, the five Genin were forced to defend themselves, as a small barrage of kunai and shuriken were thrown at them by the clones. After deflecting the projectiles, Sakura immediately took out another kunai and threw it at one of the clones. But much to her surprise and confusion, the kunai passed right through the clone. When Naruto saw this, he quickly realized what they were, where he walked out of the formation and went right towards one of the clones. Naruto, what are you do? Get back into formation, cried Sasuke, where Naruto just ignored her and continued to walk towards the clones. Naruto, cried Sakura, when she saw the clones was about to hit him with its fist, but when the clone went to hit him, the clone passed right through him. Just as I thought the young Senju. What's going on? Spoke Sakura in surprise. Why didn't that clone hit him? Their illusion, said Sasuke, realizing the truth. Right, like Kabuto said, the guys were fighting like to wear out their opponents, since they aren't strong enough to take us head on, responded Naruto. But how did you know? Asked Kabuto. When Sakura's kunai passed right through. But their kunais and shuriken were real, responded Sakura. That's because the enemy is hidden somewhere and are throwing projectiles at us. So to wear us out further and make us think that the clones are real, answered Naruto. But still, that doesn't change the fact that we're at a disadvantage, as we still don't know where they are or how to break this genjutsu, and they won't reveal themselves until we're too weak to fight, replied Kabuto. That's where you're wrong, as I've a technique that can help us find them, stated Naruto, where he began to summon his chakra. But as soon as he did, he suddenly started to feel intense pain coming from the curse mark, causing him to fall to his knees. Naruto, spoke Sakura with concern, as she saw her part-time teammate fall to his knees. Damn it, the curse seal, not now of all times, thought Naruto angrily, as he held his neck in pain. Seeing that something was wrong with Naruto, the Ame Genin decided to take advantage of the situation and each threw 3 kunai at Naruto. Luckily though, before they could hit him, Sai appeared and deflected the 3 kunai, saving the Senju's life. Looks like the mighty Senju Naruto isn't so mighty after all, if he lets scum like this defeat him, spoke Sai, without look at Naruto, as he kept a lookout for any more projectiles coming at them. Shut it, Sai, as I'm in no mood for you trash talk, retorted Naruto angrily, as his seal felt like it was on fire right now. When Sai glanced back at Naruto, he could see tin lines spreading from Naruto's curse seal. His curse seal must act up when he tries to summon his chakra, thought Sai, where he remembered his orders that he received from Danzo, when he left Sakura alone to defend Sasuke. Should Senju Naruto receive the curse mark like Uchiha Sasuke, and should both boys survive the marks, you are to monitor their behavior and actions closely. Should they lose control of themselves, or should you believe that they pose a threat to our village, you are to use lethal force to deal with them. Remembering this, Sai readied himself to kill Naruto, should he go out of control like Sasuke did earlier. Naruto was of course fighting the seal with everything he had, as he knew that if he didn't act soon then he and his team would all be in trouble. Fighting back the pain, Naruto summoned a large amount of his chakra and used his Chakura no Purusu and released a small chakra pulse wave to locate the Amazonon position. What was that? Thought Kabuto and the Amazonon at the same time. "They're over there," cried Naruto as he indicated to the top of the tree where the three Amazonon were hiding, before falling over in pain again. Acting quickly on what Naruto told them, Sai used his Choju Giga, Super Beast's imitation picture, to create 3 ink lions and 2 hawks to attack the Amazonon. "How did they find us?" thought all 3 Genon at once, just before they were forced jump out of the tree they were hiding in, as the ink animals destroyed a small portion of the tree. That was certainly an interesting technique. They were perfectly well hidden and yet he was still able to locate them perfectly, with that technique, thought Kabuto with intrigue. Unfortunately though, for the Ame Nins, as soon as they jumped into the air to avoid Sai's ink beasts, Sasuke sent a small barrage of shuriken at them, which they couldn't avoid in time, where they received several injuries from them and crashed down to the ground. As soon as they hit the ground, the clones that surrounded Team 7 disappeared. Quickly enough though, the 3 Amazonon recovered and got back onto their feet. "I don't know how you found us, but you haven't won yet," spoke the leader of the team named Oboro, where he and his team each formed the same hand seal and said Oboro Bunshine no Jutsu, Hei's clone technique, creating several dozen clones of the Ame team. With Naruto unable to fight, Kabuto, Sai and Sasuke charged forward and attacked the Ame Nins, while Sakura stayed behind to guard the vulnerable Naruto. But when Sasuke, Sai and Kabuto attacked the Amazonon and their clones, they went right through them. Their illusions, just like before, stated Kabuto. Realizing that they were going to get nowhere by just attacking all the different clones, Sasuke decided to try and find the real Ame Nins by using his Sharingan. But as soon as he activated it, like Naruto, his curse seal started to hurt and pain shot throughout his body. "Damn it, now my seal is starting to hurt as well," thought Sasuke as fell to his knees. But still, despite the pain that was going through his body, Sasuke fought it and used his Sharingan to try and find the real Ame Nins. As the battle progressed, the Ame Ninja attempted to attack Sasuke by hiding among their illusionary clones. Luckily though for Sasuke, Kabuto was able to push him away, but was wounded in the process. Not wanting to let Kabuto's efforts to go to waste, Sasuke continued to search for the Amazonon and quickly found them and told Sai where they were, who then immediately pounced on them and knocked them out within seconds. Once the Ame Shinobi had been taken out, Sai then searched them and found their scroll, which was a heaven's scroll, the very one they needed. After a quick break so to give Naruto and Sasuke a chance to recover from their curse seals acting up, Kabuto and the members of Team 7 headed towards the tower and arrived just as dawn had broken through. When they arrived at the tower, they met Kabuto's teammates who were waiting for him, and after bidding goodbye to the silver-haired boy, they headed through the double doors that were marked for them. With Kabuto and his team after separating from Naruto and Team 7, Kabuto and his teammates entered the double doors that were marked for them. Once they entered the doors, they found themselves in a large hallway, and there leaning against the wall to their left, waiting for them to arrive, was the infamous nuke nin Orochimaru. "So how were they?" asked Orochimaru. "Sounds like you're quite fond of them," Kabuto spoke with evil-looking smirk. "I would just like your opinion of them," replied Orochimaru, "since you're my trusted subordinate and spy." "My opinion matters little, Orochimaru-sama, as yours and the only one that matters, since you're the one who decides," replied Kabuto with a cunning smirk, where he handed Orochimaru one of his info cards, which told the former Sannin everything Kabuto learned about Sasuke and Naruto. "Crafty as always, Kabuto-kun," spoke Orochimaru before he disappeared in a whirl of wind. With Naruto and Team 7 after entering the large hallway and reading the large notice sheet, Naruto and the others soon realized that they needed to open the scrolls inside the hall. Once they opened all 4 scrolls together, 4 large puffs of smoke came out of the scrolls, where the 3 boys instantly recognized the summoning inscriptions on the scrolls and threw them away and told Sakura to do the same. Once they threw away the scrolls, 2 large puffs of smoke appeared, where when they dissipated they saw that the people that were summoned were Hagane Kotetsu and Kamizuki Izumo. For a moment or two, Naruto and the others didn't recognize them, but after getting a better look at them they quickly realized who they were. "Hey, I know you guys, you were those 2 guys that tried to stop us from entering the exam and tried to trick us into going into the wrong room," cried Sakura in realization. "Nice seeing you guys too," replied Izumo with a smirk. "Wait, I thought you guys were Genon like us," Sakura said in confusion. "Nah, that was just part of the test to weed out weaklings," explained Kotetsu. "So why are you guys here?" asked Sasuke. "Well, you see, it's our job as Chunin examiners to welcome the examinees who pass the forest with both scrolls at the end of the second round," answered Izumo. "You guys are pretty lucky, since if you'd been any later, you wouldn't have passed, so congrats," added Kotetsu with a smile. After hearing that they had passed the second round of the exam, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 smiled in victory at passing the second round. Even Sai smiled at the news of them passing, but it was his usual fake smile. Kotetsu and Izumo then went on to explain how this part of the exam was to test their abilities to follow orders and to work as a team. Since if they arrived here without all members of their team, or if they opened any of the scrolls outside the tower, they would have been disqualified. At the mention of opening of the scrolls, both Sasuke and Naruto glanced at Sakura, who had the decency to blush and look to the ground, since she'd nearly got them disqualified from the exam. Once the explanations were over, Izumo and Kotetsu told them to follow them to the Grand Hall, where they and the other Genin who successfully got through the forest were to meet. At Konoha's main gate, currently standing guard at the main gates of Konoha, two Chunin named Suzumi and Hayase stood guard at the entrance booth. As in normal cases, guard duty at the main gate was fairly routine and boring, with signing in some people coming to do business in the village or shinobi returning from mission or leaving for a mission. But as they slowly watched time go by, the two Chunin suddenly saw three blurs flying past them with such incredible speed that neither Chunin knew had happened. "What the hell was that?" asked Hayase in confusion. "The hell I know," replied Suzumi in equally confusion. After passing by the main gate, the three blurs headed straight for the Hokage's mansion, jumping across buildings' rooftops with tremendous velocity, where they flew right past the shinobi, who were traveling by the rooftop as well, leaving them just as confused as the Chunin at the gate were. Soon enough, the three blurs arrived at the main entrance of the Hokage's mansion and raced up the building to where the Hokage's office was. When they arrived, they saw the Hokage's secretary at her desk sorting out some papers. When the secretary turned to them, she instantly recognized two of the three people. They were none other than Senju Tsunade and Jiraiya the Gamma Sennin, Toad Sage, while the third person was Tsunade's apprentice Shizune, who was carrying Tauntaun, the family pet pig. The reason why Jiraiya was with the group was because after Tsunade had her premonition of something happening to Naruto, she and Shizune had raced for Konoha at top speed, and on their way, they had met Jiraiya, who was also heading to Konoha. When they met up, Jiraiya explained to them that his network had informed him that someone was making a move on Konoha, which was why he was heading to Konoha, so to warn the Sandaime. Since according to his intel there was a strong possibility that Orochimaru was the person that was moving against Konoha. At the mention of her former teammate's name, Tsunade's fears of something happening to Naruto grew even more, where she then gave Jiraiya a quick rundown on why she and Shizune were racing for Konoha. Now normally Jiraiya would have been skeptical when it came to stuff like premonitions, signs or other things. But when it came to a mother's instincts for her child or Tsunade's luck in gambling, along with the possibility of Orochimaru being involved, he was willing to believe in just about anything, where he then joined the two women in their race to Konoha. "Tsunade-sama, Jiraiya-sama, what brings you here?" asked the woman respectfully to the two Sannin. Tsunade of course did not answer the woman's question, as she simply ignored her and marched by her and headed straight for the double doors next to the secretary, which led to the Hokage's office. "Wait," cried the woman, when she saw the female Sannin heading for the Hokage's office. "The Hokage isn't in his office." "Then where the hell is he?" rounded Tsunade angrily, as she turned to the secretary. "He left for the tower in the Forest of Death several days ago and has not returned from it yet. By now he should be giving his speech to those who have passed the second round of the Chunin exam," answered the secretary. At this, Tsunade quickly turned and started to head down the hall that led to the stairs that lead to the bottom floor of the mansion, where she was joined by Jiraiya and Shizune. But before any of them could get very far, the secretary suddenly called out to them. "Wait, there's something more you need to know. Call the woman." "What?" rounded Tsunade, as she was in no mood for chatting. Several days ago, when the exam in the forest first started, the Hokage received word from the head examiner of the second round of the Chunin exam, Mitarashi Anko, that the bodies of three Kuzujinan were found not far from the Forest of Death with their faces melted off, where she believed that there was intruder in the area. Later on, the Hokage received word that the intruder was your former teammate Orochimaru and that he was after Uchiha Sasuke and your son Senju Naruga. The secretary spoke, but before she could finish speaking, Tsunade appeared directly in front of her and grabbed her by the collar of her kimono and pulled the young woman across her desk, so she was looking right into the angry and worried face of Tsunade. "What happened to my son?" demanded the blonde-haired woman, where for once neither Jiraiya nor Shizune tried to stop her, since they wanted answers as well. According to Anko-san's report, Orochimaru placed his curse mark on Uchiha Sasuke and your son. Other than that we don't know. The Hokage sent an Anbu team, where they spent much of the second day looking for them, but couldn't find him or his teammates, although they did find signs of a battle being fought, which they believe is where your son and his team fought. Orochimaru answered the secretary nervously, since last time Tsunade had lost her temper here, she had destroyed the entire hallway, hospitalized two Anbu and scared the last secretary, her predecessor, so badly, that she was too scared to come back to work. Within a blink of an eye after hearing this, Tsunade let go of the frightened woman and raced out of the Hokage's mansion with Jiraiya and Shizune hot on her heels, at even greater speed than before, and headed straight for the Forest of Death. At the tower, after giving his speech on the reason why the Chunin exam existed other than to promote Junon to Chunin, the Hokage stared at the many different Junon that were before him and could not help but be impressed on how many made it this far, especially at the fact all the rookie Junon from Konoha made it. It's impressive that so many made it this far, and many of them are recently made Junon. This generation certainly has a lot of promise, thought the Sandaime, before his eyes fixed on Naruto, where a look of relief and concern spread across his face.